Ground blind goofing today, baby.
This is the Midwest Fixation. Thank you for tuning in. This is Philip Busher. This is Scotty, Anthony. We got some good shit for y'all today. We got some heartbreaks. We got some successful ass stories. We got some good buck stories. Well, let's get it. This is Scotty. What you got for me today?
So my hunt this year was pretty good. I was able to get on 4 deer this year. 2 does, 2 bucks. I took a buck and a doe with my bow, and then I took a buck and a doe with my gun. We're out of Missouri area, so I was hunting mid-Missouri and was able to take 1 buck that was like a high basket 8. We came back from doe hunting that weekend, and we took the lives out that weekend. Got skunked, and we came back, and
My wife.
well, his wife got on 2 of them. He dropped 2 of
Big
them.
bastards. Too.
Yeah, good shot on 2. Nice doe. And so me and my wife had 1 chance, but it was too quick, and I didn't want to pressure on the shot, so we let that deer walk, and then didn't really see anything else. So after that, I got home, and I was like, I gotta scratch the itch, you know? And so I went out with the bow that evening when we got back Sunday night, and the only thing that came in was this 8. I'm like, you know what? I came to fill a tank, fill the freezer, so
Bro's
here you go.
finger trigger was itching.
Yeah, it had to happen. And that was the first deer of the year, so I had to put one down. It was earlier season. A little bit later, I was able to get on the doe on the family land too. Later on,
Talking about family land, talk about that real quick. What do you got? Like, how many acres? Where at?
so we got roughly like 30 or 40 acres right there by the house. We lease some land next to us that we run cattle on. So it's kind of a big operation going. We got some cows, pigs, goats, dogs, cats, ducks, chickens, a little bit of everything.
Jeez.
We do a lot of our own like meat and freezer deal, just like deer hunting and outdoors and everything. You're putting meat in the freezer from outdoors. So we do that a lot on the family farm. We're also fortunate enough to be able to hunt the woods out behind the house. So we take a few deer a year off of there. We use it mainly to get other people on deer and give opportunity for other people to come out and hunt that don't have opportunity. So it's really cool to be able to do that. I was able to take that buck and a doe off of that this year. And then we roll into gun season, and we hunt up in Maryville, Missouri, which is the corner of Missouri.
Up there.
And like Iowa, Nebraska, up in the tip of Missouri.
Where you want to be. That's where you want to hunt.
Yeah, it's a lot of big deer. A
whole lot of
big land. Yeah, so you watch a lot of monsters.
Whole lot of ag.
Yeah. You watch a lot of big deer. And it really, we've played the game of chasing them. You see them over there, you go over there. But you see them over here once you go over there. And you're a mile and a half away, and you watch them all day.
Yeah.
It's what hunting is. It's what hunting is. Stand time. Stay in your spot. Know if you see the deer in that area, it may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but if that deer comes to that area at some point in the next few days, its pattern's going to break into that area again. So we stayed in the same area, stayed hunting.
And you're not basing off any trail camera pictures. You're not basing off nothing.
We go up there, we scout a little bit, and we stay about a week. And the first few days of scouting, checking deer out, finding target bucks,
right?
And then you're hunting on them. For, we go out there in the morning, we bring lunch, stay out there all day long, and you hunt these deer hard because you never know when they're going to be going through. You're talking about the rut. The Midwest rut is crazy. They could yeah. So we go out there, we hunt hard, and we hunted this deer very hard. I was hunting these 3 other target bucks, My buddy was, he'll be later on the podcast, Nick,
Yeah.
was hunting not too far away from me. And I had a doe group came in and decided to pass on them. And then this buck came in. So hunted hard all season. Last day and a half of season here for us. Square up with this buck, 220 yards, and I lay down a shot. And I was money on this shot, and the buck looked over at me and walked away. And I'm like, there's no way I was even close to him. He just looked right at me, didn't flinch, and walked away. So I'm like, what the hell? It gets dark. I'm like, okay, shake it off, bad shot, it happens. Next morning, we get back in that same blind. We're hunting same spots every day, staying on. Get back in the same blind. I'm getting ready. Daylight's breaking. My confidence a little busted from missing that deer. And so I'm starting to think, and I'm like, we'll check. Make sure everything's good. Ammunition, everything. And look in there, and I shoot a 270 in my magazine, boys. Was a 25-06 round.
Hold on. How did you fuck that up?
So, lesson learned kind of on this. It's ultimately it boils down to pay the fuck attention. Okay? Pay the fuck attention. Very important lesson. It's very, very dangerous situation I put myself in.
Did you load the magazine?
I did. But the deal was when I went in the gun safe that trip to load all my shit, I loaded all the ammunition and stacked in the safe, But right there, stacked next to my 270 was my 25-06, and I have that American Tradition box in bulk.
Yeah.
Somehow one of the boxes got swapped over. And so when I grabbed two boxes, one of them was 270, one was 25-06. I didn't think anything of it because I've hunted for years and just I'm paid attention. I'm vigilant. But it happens.
It's just not something you think about.
It happens. It really does, and you really just have to pay attention.
I mean,
really
everybody fucks up.
Yeah, the simple thing.
You're lucky it wasn't a bigger round.
Yeah, it could have went worse.
You're like, you didn't die.
Yeah.
But hold on. Let me clarify. You picked up and chambered a 25-06 round into a 270.
Yeah, absolutely. Unknowingly, shot at a deer and missed, and didn't think anything of it. I didn't know it at the time.
It went kaboom.
Yeah. And I missed, and I was like,
that's crazy. Yeah.
Because
did it recoil?
Yeah, it was a normal shot. Nothing weird happened. When it chambered, it didn't
feel weird. Nothing.
It slid. It was fine.
There had to be blow by in that barrel.
It was a normal shot. There was
no rattle or anything.
There wasn't any noticeable difference in the moment. But you're also talking about I'm shooting my target buck. I've been hunting for 5 days.
Yeah, so you're not thinking about it. Yeah, you don't have to feel it.
You're asking me, like,
right.
It felt like a gun shooting for sure every day of the week, but. Did it feel different than normal? I don't know. I was staring 220 yards at the buck. I hunt for 5 days out there, mangy, looking like this, stinky. I've been hunt.
That's what I always teach the kids that I take out hunting. They're always worried about the recoil, and I'm like, once you're aimed at the target, the deer, you don't feel it, you don't think about it, you pull the trigger, and all of a sudden you're looking up and trying to figure out.
You don't even remember.
That gun felt normal that day.
Right.
Next morning I get in the blind. Now I'm a little second guessing just because I missed it, not because I didn't know. I was not aware it was the wrong round until I pulled my magazine, looked, and saw, and then I go through my bag and I pulled the box out, and sure as fuck, wrong box. So now,
where
my thoughts go to that round from last night. It's still in this ground blind somewhere. And I have to find that round to see what I shot last night. Well, lo and behold, in the corner of the ground blind was an empty 25-06 round.
So where was the 270 rounds during this whole time?
In my buddy's truck that was over 1.5 miles away. Actually, it was a couple miles away at the point. So I had 270 rounds, but I just pulled the first box out of my case. I packed.
So you're not going to get them.
No, sorry, they were a long ways away. Yeah. The story gets good. There's addition to the story on that.
Oh, gosh.
Imagine.
Now I'm aware that I have the wrong ammunition.
Scotty.
So I have the wrong ammunition. I don't have cell phone service out to do anything about it. And my rounds are way too far away to be hunting. So upon, not my best decision in my life, but I decided anything inside 100 yards, I'm going to give her a go. It worked last night. I try to survive again. I checked my gun.
It came out the barrel.
I checked everything out of my gun. There was no issues with the gun. I'm like, it's still sound.
So hold on, is this the next day or is this?
This is the following morning. So that evening, I shot the round, missed the butt.
So you didn't realize you fucked up until you got.
I was in the blind. I was in the blind. It was.
What the?
This is all during like the sun's coming up, and I'm realizing all this as
this clear-headed.
Yeah, I'm prepping. Listen, what? I'm in the ground blind.
You're getting excited. See what you're gonna see first day.
The ground blind. Shut with a flashlight, looking for an empty casing. Probably the loudest thing in 3 miles. Looking for this casing from last night at the dog. Yeah. From the next morning. So I'm here the next morning, get all this figured out, and just make the decision on anything inside 100. I'm gonna give her a go.
See, this is why I bow hunt, because it's really hard to fuck that up. You know what I mean?
I'm big into bow hunting. I
fell in love with bow hunting.
Yeah,
I love it. I love harvesting deer. I'm big into.
Oh, I love killing deer. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but so we figured this out. Day breaks. A nice 8-pointer walks by, and I had a second thought. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna let him walk, and I'll figure it out at lunch. Well, this boy walks 40 yards from my blind. Doesn't even notice I'm there. I'm the only thing in the cornfield. Doesn't notice I'm there. Walks 15, 20 minutes. He's pacing in front. He's standing at 70 yards broadside. It's only deer. And I was like, you know what? Let's just try it.
Yeah, try it. Yeah.
My shot, he didn't even blink. 70 yards standing there. Chambered another round.
Probably did a somersault right over the top.
In instinct, I chambered another round, shot again. So now 2 rounds knowingly
without even
shooting the wrong end. But the second one, I just instinct loaded and shot.
3 rounds.
It's a 3 rounds total of the wrong ammo. 1, I wasn't aware. 2, I was fully aware.
By the way, we fully do not recommend.
No, this is absolutely
don't try it at home.
No, this is a situation that could be very dangerous. I'm very lucky to
shoot the right cartridge out of your rifles.
I'm very fortunate. Nothing happened. I was very stupid for making the decision to do that knowingly. But this is what happened. This is the truth of the story.
Shit does.
This is the truth of the story. If I processed these rounds through there, missed that deer and the other deer, life lesson learned from that point on.
I was going to say, you don't want to do it again.
Never do that again. So then I make the decision. Well, our rendezvous point that my buddy Nick was meeting us at was about 1.5 miles from me at this barn where we were going to eat lunch and then get back in the blinds. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going to creep 1.5 miles. Now you got to creep because there's no trees. You're the only thing out there for 1.5 miles.
Would you army crawl all the way out there?
And so I'm making my way across this field. I come out of this corner where I was hunting this island of trees.
Is there any way of creeping when you're in the middle of the field?
There's rolls on the field.
So you get down,
so you get in there and do a little like half run.
We got a little example of what you're.
Yeah. We look at the TV here.
Yeah, we'll pan over.
Kind of see. So where I'm at right here is our rendezvous point of these silos, and there's a little barn behind these silos.
You should just
pause right there. Pause right there. That little island of trees is 1.5 miles away. I'm on the far.
Right there?
Yeah, I'm on the far side of that island. Okay, and so I come across, hiked all the way up through here, in this draw where you see where the corn goes to soybean. I come across there, all the way across there. And like that far point of brush is kind of where I'm hunting.
God dang.
So I made my way all the way through there. And you can see just how flat it is. And so the hills, the little bits of hills you got is all you got.
I just want to recap a little bit. So you said you go out there, you scout for a day or two and then hunt it?
So we've hunted at this land last at least 5-6 years. So we kind of know this bottom.
And you don't have one trail camera out there?
No, because, unless we do the solar ones and all that, now that we're into, who's going to change the car? It's a 5-hour drive.
See, and
that's somebody. You just get a big-ass card and the camera that'll last tens of thousands of pictures.
But now we're getting into all being able to do that. So now we will be able to
we got big boy cameras now.
But also, too, is like you're talking about, where am I going to put a camera? They don't own that little patch of timber is actually owned by the neighbor, so I can't put it in the timber. So like, where do I put it? It's soybeans and corn.
So you can shoot them if they come out the field.
Well, that was what I was going to say. I was like, that's kind of like a Western hunt. You got to go out there and scout, and if you're going to shoot, you're going to shoot.
It's like,
and I admire that because all that I know is looking at trail camera pictures, figuring out where your stands are going to go. I know that's what he does. You do a little bit of that down here, but I don't know. I find that cool. I'd like to go out west and do something like that.
Up there, like where you saw that island, there's another patch of woods up behind there, and when I'm hunting that island, I see deer probably a mile away on that ridge, and I know those deer are on my trail, and within 5 minutes, those deer could be on top of you. But it's wild compared to the hunt we do around here because you don't get to do that. But up there, it's like, oh, you see that buck way over there, and you got to look at him in the binoculars.
Well, here you might not see it until it's 15 yards in front.
But up there, it's you watch deer from a mile and a half, and you're like, oh, he's on the trail. So it's wild. It's different.
It's fun. I bet.
So so we back to the deal. We messed up on this buck. We decide to go back to the rendezvous point and wait. So I'm making my way back there, and I notice a doe comes out of the levee across that big field. So I duck down. I'm in the ditch. Buck follows her. I'm watching him. This is all within 100 yards of me. So if I had ammo, we're on another buck, like shooter buck. This buck follows her. A buck comes out of that timber on the right, down, and the three of them kind of do a dance in the field about 170 yards in front of me for 30 minutes. And they have me pinned down in this field with no ammo. And I'm watching 2 shooter bucks run this doe. Then they all run up in the timber. So I go back out and I'm creeping down this line, and I get almost to the rendezvous point. About 4 does and 2 bucks. A young, 2-year-old comes down, and a big mature buck with it comes down, runs these does in this field about 20 yards from the rendezvous point.
Did you make sure you had the right ammo this time?
Well, dude, this is the process of me getting back from the ground blind. I'm trying to get to the rendezvous point still.
But he doesn't have any good notes.
And I have no ammo to call Nick, nothing. So I'm just trying to get
rocks at him.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to the rendezvous point. If I'd had a slingshot, I'd been a better option, kind of deal. But
I don't think that's legal. But
I'm like 70 yards from there, and they're like at the barn.
At the level, muzzle loader.
That's like
revolver
options I was at.
You ever thrown it out of level?
No,
it's impossible. Keep going. Anyway, keep going.
So I watched this buck and the small buck work this group of does, and they kind of do their thing and go off. And I finally get to the rendezvous point. Once I'm there, that's where I shoot this video that you saw and all that. Right after I stop this video, it's probably 10:30 in the morning. Big old buck, as I'm coming down that silo, books it across that field.
10:30?
Yeah, 10:30. Right about 10:30.
When was this? November?
Gun season.
Gun season.
Yeah, gun season.
So you should have still been in a stand at 10:30. I guess you don't have that.
I was in Nick is what it was.
Big up the club.
So all this happened of that morning.
Real.
That morning hunt. And this is after we are hunting hard for 5-6 days ahead of this. And we're coming into, I have 1 evening left and 1 morning left, and we're leaving. So I got 2 hunts left that evening. So we rendezvous for lunch. I'm telling Nick about everything, and he's like, he was debating on whether hunting that bottom or going this other place. And he went to the other place. If he would have hunted that bottom, he would have shot some big-ass deer. He ended up taking a nice deer still, but I watched 4 shooter bucks in front of me that morning, and I had no ammo. After I had fumbled ammo at that.
Do you have any idea are you shooting high, low, left?
At this point, I just knew I was shooting the wrong ammo, and I wasn't going to do it again. Right. So I knew I had the right ammo in the truck. So we rendezvous for lunch. I get the right ammo. And we got to square up, and I tell the story to him. That evening, we see nothing. It was super quiet. Nothing happened. And now I'm like, fuck, I blew it. Hunt's over. I had my chance.
See, I don't know, though.
I blew
it. Saw deer getting out of there. I think they're still there.
Dude, but I'm hunting 4 different target bucks, and I'm like, some of those bucks I saw weren't on the list, but still, after you fumbled it like that, confidence is in the game.
Yeah.
And I'm down there. Next morning, we get up, and we just, this was planned to be. We're hunting this morning.
And you got a pocket full of 270.
And now I got the right ammo.
Fucking A.
We're going to back to the same blind.
Right.
We're going to keep hunting.
All right, with a pocket full of the right ammo.
Yeah.
That deer's at 220. Are you confident there?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So the next morning we go back. We're, like I said, hunting hard, hunting the same blind. Even though we fumble, we're going back to that blind. We see deer in it. We need to stay at blind. Don't move around. We're going there, and about, I would say, 8:30, group of does come out, and it's last hunt. I got tags filled and
shot them all
in the freezer, so I'm thinking, yeah, at least I'm going to shoot one of these does, and then in that case too, I can check my ammo, and then I don't want to miss another buck. You know, I don't want to like hit a buck bad if something's up. You know, as bad as it sounds, I'd rather hit the doe than buck, but if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. So I'm going to give it a go. I'm already out there. I'm going to do it. So we lay down the shot.
Your confidence has to be a little bit higher than yesterday, knowing that you're chambered in the right spot.
You know, I know that I've went through it. You know, I've checked my socks. I've checked my underwear. I'm ready to go head to toe. After you shoot at the deer with the wrong ammo, you redo life.
He's got the lucky undies on.
Yeah. So you redo life a little bit after you do what I did. And so
okay, keep going.
We're on these doe. I let them walk as far as I can let them walk. So in case there's a buck with them. So they get out to about 220, 240, and I was like, all right, that's as far as I come through, and just know that in that breadbasket I should hit deer all day. So I shoot the biggest doe in the group. She buckles up really hard and kind of walks into the ditch. And I'm like, I know that she's done. You know, the way she turned up and just walked off when everybody else run, I knew she was done in that ditch. So I was like, well, I'm going to get it another 45 minutes. See if a buck comes out, give it, you know, so it was at 8:30. I'm going to give it till 9:30 at least. And then we'll go check. 9:30.
So you didn't see her fall, you didn't see nothing?
No, I watched her pull her leg and then walk real slow, like, oh shit, walk.
Oh, she was hit.
Yeah, she was hit hard. I could tell she was hit hard, and she was right on the edge of the ditch. So she took like 2 steps.
Was it a ditch or like a levee?
No, like a 10-foot ditch.
She didn't go 20.
It didn't go 20 for sure. 20 yards. I'll tell you, she went about 20 yards down because this ditch was steep as hell. We had to get her out of.
Hey, at least you had somebody, which we'll get to.
And there and done.
Yeah, we have video, and we'll pull that up at some point. But we have video, and you can see where this doe's at in this ditch. And so I wait my hour. Nothing happens. Quiet morning. At this point, I'm just glad that gun's okay. I was able to process around. We took a doe. We're going on with meat. So I get out of the blind. I'm going over there. Like I said, she's about 240, so I'm about 40 yards from where I shot her, and over the corner of my shoulder, I just see something cross the field about 800 yards out. And in this field, like you saw, ain't nothing
800 yards?
There's nothing out there. 800 yards is like 100 yards here. You see it.
How the fuck you even see that?
There's nothing. If anything moves out there, you see it because everything's this tall. So if anything's out in that field, you see
prescription glasses.
I'm telling you, you got to go up there and experience this kind of stuff.
42.
So I see something across the field. Boom, boom, by me. So 2 somethings. In the second half, I see it was a deer. So there's nothing out there. And I know that the strip they went into ends where they went in, but comes this way. So I know, like, those deer are more than likely working towards me. Right. I was like, what? I have an Indy deer for my buck I was shooting at, missing. And then a doe tag I just filled. So I was like, I got another tag. If that's doe, I might get it too. So I creep about 270 yards across this soybean flat.
So creep, as you mean?
Oh, I'm talking arms. Yeah, my adrenaline's going. I'm going after a deer already shot. So my adrenaline's up. So I'm like, it'd have been
down, ass up.
It'd have been you on all fours, but I was just crouched down. You know, forward like that. So I'm crouched.
I can get that.
Across this
I
field.
can get that. Yeah.
See, I'm below the brush line. Is what it is.
How tall are you?
Like 5'5". Honestly, yeah. I'm not even gonna claim 5.5. 5'5".
Confident.
So I creep across this field. I get to the edge. I guess it's just a flat field. I get to the edge of this brush line that the buck went into, and I'm looking at my binoculars. I got my gun on, my shit on me, and I'm thinking he's probably at 150 by now from that 800 initially, and I moved some yards on him. 150. my binoculars, and all I hear is just wrestling in the bushes. This dude's head pops out of the bushes like 15 yards ahead of me, 20 yards ahead of me, right in front of me. So he jumps out. It was this big buck. Yeah, ended up being a 10-pointer with a nice kicker. Had a broken time. It was a nice mature buck. Jumps out with a doe and takes off running across the field. But it's a big soybean flat. Not going to outrun me with the 270. So I put a round in him, and he started to go down. And as he was going down, I put another one in just to make sure, because they were standing horn further. And I didn't want to have to try to track him to that.
Right. Yeah, it'll be.
So I put one in him. He was going down. Put another one in him, and he dropped. And he ended up dropping probably 120 yards from the doe I shot initially.
That's convenient.
So that whole hunt happened like that. Later on, we'll get into Nick's story. But through that, Nick was pumped. We took care of those deer, field dressing and all that. And then Nick was like, let's just stay this evening. Like, I told him, I said, I'm hunting 4 bucks. The one I shot, actually, I'd never seen. So there's still 4 bucks in this hole, 4 shooters that I'm waiting for. And the one I shot, I'd never seen. So I was like, there's still 4 more, man. If we sit one more evening, you might get on. We sat that evening, and he was able to seal the deal on a nice fucking 10-point buck, dude. Out of the same blind, hours later.
We gotta pull this picture up.
Right, yeah, you're gonna see the picture. I think.
Nope, that's your. Oh, this is your doe.
Dude, so look how big this. That's the biggest deer I've ever shot body wise.
It's bigger than your buck.
Huge, and that buck is a big, nice, mature buck.
That doe is a cow.
The biggest deer I ever shot was that doe.
Oh,
did you see if it had genitals?
Dude, it was a doe. I field dressed it myself. It was a doe, but that thing was a mule.
Shit. I mean, that's northern deer. Northern deer, yeah.
Look at the size of the
corn-fed monster.
Oh yeah, exactly. They're feeding on ag all day long. I mean, just they do is grow and get fat and big.
You can kind of see the kicker in that one. That kicker on the back of his spine there, and he had that broken front end. But he's a nice mature deer.
You getting him mounted?
That's a good buck. Yep. He's heading the taxidermist, getting mounted. We're gonna get a nice shoulder done on. Have some other deer heads he'll fit with on the mantle.
All right, let's get to your double down here. Oh, here it is, right there.
Oh yeah, there's Nick's. Yeah. So there's out of the same blind in the same day, we were able to bag those deer. That deer actually was the deer I believe I missed at 220 that evening before.
That you missed with a 25.
Yep.
Were you happier with the one that you shot?
In the full story of it, like ending up and like failing and then succeeding.
Yeah.
So much better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Both deer are amazing deer. I love both deer, but yeah, the story of like me failing and then
what's the build up?
Pushing
you gotta get there.
Yeah. But they're both great deer. That definitely was the deer I missed at that 220 the evening before. He came back the next evening. I must have missed him by a distance because he came back that next evening.
That's
Nick was able to take him.
He just went barrel and just went right to the ground.
We're gonna go make sure. I don't know if we do not recommend doing them.
100%. Don't do it.
Missing a deer like that, like fumbling like that, kind of reminds me. Like I've hit a couple tree branches in my life. After getting drawn back, like pretty confident I'm gonna hit this shot, and you smack a tree branch pretty square, and that one will that'll kick you down pretty good.
Yeah, that was
watch it walk off. Doesn't really know what happened. Doesn't know what you were. Just
look at you two cheesing though. Y'all are happy. That's good. Fuck yeah.
That me and Nick both.
I mean, that's what it's
very hard. That season. We're talking sun up to sundown.
Is that your doe there in the back?
Yeah, look how big that damn thing is.
I can eat both of your bucks.
Oh god,
he was giant.
Y'all meet Nick at some point, but he's not here today.
He's on the team. He's not here today, but you'll get the story on his buck from him. I'm not going to tell his story, but it was a great hunt. I'm blessed to be able to be there. And
you're probably blessed to still be on this planet with your little mishap you had.
Yeah.
So hold on, when you pulled the trigger on what was the doe? The doe was your first one. Did you pinch your butt cheeks a little bit because you actually had full firepower this time? You didn't think the gun would blow up or nothing?
At the point where I had decided to shoot that doe, it was whatever was going to happen was going to and you can't worry about it because at this point I have to focus on the shot of the deer. I got to make a good shot and do my part as an outdoorsman to make sure it's a clean shot. So I'm focused on the shot, and I've decided to make the shot. So if something happens, it happens. My adrenaline was definitely going a little bit more than normal in the situation because I was aware. But as a hunter, I'm focused on the shot. It's one of those you don't feel the recoil.
Exactly. Did you say a prayer or say Jesus take the wheel before you pulled the trigger?
I think I said fuck it.
He read 270 on the back of that, and he was like, "All right,
we're going better than yesterday."
You thought about sighting in your
gun? No, but if you
what is that 25-06 after that, and just see where it was landing, low, high.
If you shoot something that's not chambered for your firearm,
I mean that bullet's
you got to worry about something.
Well, I was worried about scarring in the barrel.
Like if you get a splinter in that barrel, and then you actually chamber the full potential for that firearm,
right? Yeah,
that's a lot of.
Hey, don't get me wrong. I chambered
to see the actual styles in between a 25-06 and a 270. Like, what's the difference?
I will say the
how clean did that bullet come out of there?
The brass
truly
is very similar. Now, like when I ran it back, it's definitely smaller and it has more wiggle.
Mm-hmm.
But as it comes out of the magazine, it chambers smooth.
So that would be like shooting a 17 out of a 22.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It'll chamber, but it won't shoot right. Right. Smaller diameter bullet.
So, very, very, very not recommended deal. But learn from my mistake.
I'm not going to try it.
Yeah. Learn from my
you guys try it.
Do not do that. But that's the honesty of what happened this year on the recap for Scotland,
Yeah. So, your story's not finished there. You came bow hunting with me. I had 2 leases up kind of central northern Missouri. I'm not going to say where because I don't want to get flooded with, non-residents because it's pretty bad as it is now. But
yeah,
our one lease, you sat with me and tell that story.
Dude,
what happened that day?
We
were on some deer.
We hunted a couple days out there that weekend. Mm-hmm. And we were on the deer and we passed on some deer. There was
some of the deer.
I think there was one deer that I squared up to, and like Phil, I don't know if he was even looking at me, and I'm squaring up like this boy's dying.
I was looking at you.
And then Phil turns over and he's like, "I'm too small."
Too small.
You sure? Are you sure?
100%.
And then he's like, "I too fast." But then
we're shooting for kind of 130-inch minimum.
We're goofing around.
I got flying with deer.
With some nice young deer. And the one deer, so he's working out of the field, doesn't even see us, doesn't care. And Phil's like, "Let's see what happens." And he grunts at him. And this cocky bastard turns 90 and bolts right at us. Comes to the bottom of the tree stand. And Phil tinkled on himself just a little bit because this thing went to the base of the tree.
Dude, it scared the
right. But from like 5 yards, and it was loud as hell.
Scotland still wanted to shoot it though.
Yeah. This one we knew. We were going to pass on. The one before that, if he'd have came into 5 yards,
let's make it clear.
We've been arguing.
Scott was still ready to shoot.
So this deer came in,
back.
And it was cool to watch that though. That buck came in and was like, "Who the hell did that?" And then you see, he didn't bust because he blew at us and stayed around. He didn't run off.
See, and that's like I've snort weeded a couple bucks, and it either works or it doesn't. Yeah. And I know you guys run it totally different, but I've snort weeded, and when they come in like that, and like they're really
come hot.
Who's ball somebody, they're running in. It is awesome.
Yeah, they come hot. He came in and he wasn't. What was he? 2-3-year-old. He was young. He was a young guy, and he came in hot shit, wanting to fight. And then when he saw something funny in the tree, he blew up at it, and then he was like, "Fuck it." And he kept staying around us, working the ground.
You guys ever accidentally left your bow rope down? They follow your bow rope up to you?
No.
Pull your bow up.
But
they drop the tree with you?
You drop your rope down, but they're walking, they see your rope, and they follow that rope up right at you. I've done that before, and dude, it never fails. They will see you every single time. They'll follow it right up, something ain't right.
So
different.
So that was the first day.
Yeah.
Oh, second day, we got on deer.
We got some big deer.
So Adam texts us, and he's like, "Yo, I got these deer working," and he has his own fucking story on what happened on his end.
He will definitely have a story.
So these deer end up, our side of the story is working this way towards us.
That's where you're sitting.
And they work on the back of us. That food plot's looking good. This year is going to be huge.
Oh, next year's going to be huge.
So we have these deer work towards us, and they're working this back of the ridge, and a 10-pointer that was a shooter came up, and it was one of those 10s that had been the same every year on his trail cameras, and he's like, this one needs to go. So we decided.
It has to go. The past 2 to 3 years, he's a really wide. I don't know the official measurement because I didn't kill him, but he's at least 20 to 22 inches wide. Real short tines, heavy, but old, mature 10-pointer, which is really kind of what we're looking for. Good management deer. But he came in and keep going.
Yeah, so he comes in, and he's working up the hill towards us, and I'm squaring up to shoot. Phil's getting ready with the camera, and what is he? He's 50 yards probably, but there's trees and shit, so we're trying to get him to work to like the 35 range because we're in some tight timber.
Right.
And so we're trying to get him to work to 35, and when he comes up to, well, I would say 42, he was right there in the money.
Oh, yeah.
This other young buck that he runs with came in.
I don't even know if he was young. I think that was the deer I killed.
Well, yeah. It was another shooter. So another shooter comes in with him, a nice buck comes in with him.
And this is the first time for you.
Yeah, it's my first hunt.
So you have no idea what to expect.
So he comes in, but this deer's at like 20 yards.
This is on my first time.
This deer comes in 20 yards. And so I got this 10-pointer.
Oh.
And then I got this other guy here.
Ooh,
but then they decide they're going to fight each other. But when they do, the guy next to me runs down the hill to fight the other guy. So he quarters away, and they both go down the hill away from us.
See, like, I don't care how big they are. I love seeing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, dude, they were like,
that is acres. Like, that is just, that is deep.
They went down that creek bottom to fight, and then we didn't see them again after that.
Yeah.
Then I think we had some does work in, and some other young bucks work in past us. Well, we had some does come in, and they were on top of us for a long time.
Long time.
Yeah, I'll tell you about the does being on top of me.
So,
what else out there?
Dude, it's good hunting out there. But
this is
deer we saw were good deer. But
pan over here. This is that 10-pointer that we had at 40 yards.
Yeah.
Dude, you can tell by his body, but he looks like a young deer. But I promise you, he's not. He's been on this farm for a long time. This deer is at least 5.5 years old, at least.
Which like that,
and he's not getting any bigger. Like his tines are staying short. He's not really growing any more in width. He's getting heavier in mass, but
that's like north central Missouri.
Yeah, here he is again, daylight, right here.
Yeah, he was a nice deer.
Yeah,
he came in.
That's a good buck.
He was. Oh yeah, there he is, right there. That's a good video of him.
See, like central Missouri where I hunt, that's a shooter all day long.
Yeah, he was actually killed during the last weekend of gun season by one of the guys that gun hunt the property. I was actually just came back from the property. Then
good mass on.
My dad was up there. That other guy was up there. I'm not going to call out his name because I'm not really sure. But he texted me while I was here. Actually, Scotland, you were here also. He texted me and said, "Is this the big wide 10 that you want killed?" And I said, "Yeah. Why haven't you shot?" And he was like, "No, it's not me. It's the other guy, the ground blind." I'm like, "All right, well, tell him to kill him." And 5 minutes later, he texted me back and he said, "All right, he's dead." I'm like, oh man, like sweet.
He's a nice deer.
Oh yeah, he's a good deer. Yeah. He ended up Euron him, and
that's a good Euron.
Yeah, he's a good deer. Look, look, you can see the mass on him.
I mean, his brow tines are huge. His brow tines are probably longer.
Well, yeah, look at the mass just in general.
Yeah, he's a good one.
Look at his brows when he turns. They're about as long as his damn tines are.
They're curling in.
I mean,
he's old.
He won't score much, but I mean the age and maturity.
No, I mean, that deer at 40 yards, he's a nice.
That's one I'd be proud of
for sure. For sure. And
that was my hunt this year. And then we hunted a few other times, saw some other deer. We ended up passing on deer and seeing a lot of coyotes too. But
I got drawn back on some coyotes this year, and I couldn't get them to stop. But they were like right there, 15, 20 yards. But I don't know if
that's my season, but I'm gonna see her go.
Hiss at him like a rabbit. Like,
yeah,
I'm doing that. I'm trying to stop him.
Bitch.
Everything, yeah.
No,
they're not stopping. My season, you know, I don't know. I'm not gonna say it was great. I'd say, I don't know. I definitely learned something.
Yeah. That's a good season. You learn.
I don't know if it's a good season. It's all right. So early season, we get on camera this 14 pointer, which it's not common. We're Central Missouri. We're Osage County. It's.
Am I pulling them up, or are you just gonna keep going real quick?
Yeah, no, you can pull it up. Good 14 pointer, split G2, split G3.
And if you haven't caught on by now, this is what I meant by heartbreak in the beginning. But
it's it's a heartbreak. It's a heartbreak for me. It's a heartbreak for people that aren't here, and we'll get into that later. I'm glad it wasn't me. He's walking around the property. He's bedding on our neighbor's property though, and I'm trying to get an idea on where he's bedding. Got a decent idea. I got an idea on where he's heading in early season. It's September. We got ag fields. I know where they're going. It's not a great picture of them. There's a little bit better zoomed in here. Yeah.
That's not even a good picture.
That's a killer picture.
Here we go.
Split G2, split G3. He's a hammer for where we're from.
Where do you think he's at? Low 70s, mid 70s.
I don't think he's 70s. No.
Are you kidding me? This deer right here is 167. This deer right here is.
That deer doesn't have that mass. I don't think though.
Okay, your mass measurements aren't going to give you.
I'm thinking
they will give you a little bit more
60s probably.
No.
That's a nice deer.
First of all,
no, that's a great deer.
Your G2s are every bit of 12 inches long. You have G3s that are 10 inches long. You have fours that are at least 6 inches long. You have splits on your threes, your twos. Dude, this deer is mid-high 70s for sure. 100%.
I think he could hit 70. I don't think
I can't really see his width. I don't have any pictures of his width.
So were you able to get on him throughout the season at all?
Beams.
I was not blessed enough to get on him. We had a general idea where he's bedding. I was more focused on where he was feeding, trying to get on some cold fronts. I had some run-ins with deer earlier. And so that's a good picture of him. Makes him look all kinds of gnarly.
If you, that's one that makes all day.
Yeah.
He kind of looks young in this though.
Well, so I talked to a couple guys from, I think one of the guys was Midwest Whitetail that I talked to, and he said that he was young. And out there, I have a hard time believing that because deer don't look like that young out there. It can change and differ, but anyway. I tried to set up on this ridge where he should have been coming down to this ag field early season for some food, cold front moving in. Not thinking about it. My dad set up further on the ridge in this field, kind of by a bedding area. So I get a text from my dad, and he's like, I just shot a giant. Like, all right, well, what one was it? He's like, real dark rack. Seen this deer earlier in the season, before season started. Dark rack. I'm like, damn. He shot that 14 pointer. So we get back to the truck. He's explaining it to me. Tells me he missed. I'm like, you missed? I thought you got him, whatever. It's like, no, I misranged him. I shot under him. And then after that, he said, I watched him for a while. He stepped in a hole. It looked like he was doing that stumble when they fall.
Right.
He thought he was going down. Deer walked off. He's pumped. No blood, nothing. Finds his arrow. Missed. Reranges it. He spotted it. He thought it was going to be 40 yards. I think it was, or he thought it was going to be 30 yards. It was 38. He shot
under
him. And
what a shame. This is
yeah.
So stuck at this.
Anyway,
hold on. Is this camera rolling? I don't see any red light on it. Check it.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Just to make sure you guys can see this. Tap it.
Turned itself off.
Did it?
Yeah.
Hit the record. All right, it's rolling again. All right, this is
that's the buck.
All right, let's look for a better picture here. No, not that one. this one. Great picture of them.
That's a hammer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just...
You can see here, both split G2s, split G3s, both sides. Nice force, long beam length, decent brow tines.
He's not super wide, but I mean, his G3's
not super massy, but man, that's a big deer.
See, and that is why you can say he's young. There isn't a lot of mass there.
Right. I mean, some deer don't get very thick in antlers.
Long story short,
this one,
my dad misses him early season. We see him on cameras till...
Like, look at this.
Yeah, he looks like a freak in that picture. So that's a mock scrape. And that, so, gosh, what time is that? So that's 1:50 a.m. Say probably 9 p.m. that night, take in hand. It's early season. It's October. I mean, we had gotten out of the tree, drove the truck around the property, messing with cameras. That's a mock scrape. We broke that branch down, pissed on it, scraped it out. Within however many hours that is, that buck was on it. That same night, these two other shooter bucks, one of them we've had a bunch of encounters with, the other one...
You pissed on it like yourself pissed on it.
Yes, dude.
I do the same shit.
Yeah.
And people, I've heard, think I'm fucking crazy for that.
Human scent comes off your piss in 20 minutes. That's what I've heard.
Was this a drug test?
Minutes. I heard that off of another video.
I don't know. I always piss in my
script. This guy seems pretty credible. He shot a lot of big deer, but...
Oh, my.
So that was the first picture we got.
Look at... Yeah, that's one.
What ended up happening to this deer?
You're kidding me?
So, long story short, my dad misses him in October, early October. Of course, we're on his tail. We're trying to get him. Probably, honestly, put too much pressure on him.
Yeah.
And came down to it. Haven't seen him since, gosh, like maybe October 30th or something.
Oh, here he is hitting your straight right here.
Yep, exactly. Same night. And
yeah.
So haven't seen him since like late October. And we're sitting at this dive bar just right down there by the farm, talking to the guy that does the ag on our property, and it's like, yeah, some guy shot a 14-pointer up there, blah, blah, blah. And we hear 14-pointer. It's not normal around there. So,
and this is where it's...
We start talking to him, like, oh, you got pictures of the guy that shot it, or, you know, anybody that shot it? And they're like, oh, yeah, you know, we got pictures. And he shows it to me. I'm sitting there looking at it like, man.
When
you heard 14-point...
Well, that was one of those. It was... I heard 14-pointer, and like I already knew, but I just needed that click.
How many 14-pointers around?
We've seen 2 14-pointers in like 8 years.
Exactly. So you already knew.
Yeah, it was gone. I mean, I heard 14, yeah. But show him the picture that I sent you of that, and it's
hard to even pull up because
I'd love to tell the full story.
Yeah.
There's a better picture than that like, really shows.
What's that? Is that lever action?
Oh yeah, I bet it's a 30-30.
It's like a World War II antique right there.
It's a bad asshole ride.
Looks like he picked that up at Dollar General.
Yeah,
there we go right there. Oh no, that's the same picture.
I don't know. That was a tough one. After that, thank God we found that out.
Oh.
We found that out late season, so we were still in it to win it till the end of the season. So you can see the split G3s there, and
G2s, G3s. Dude, his threes are...
Well, I mean,
his threes are 12.
We've seen split,
10, 12.
We've seen split G2s on a couple different deer, and I'll show you some other ones.
Look at his 4 on his left side.
His G3s are...
His 4 is at least 8 inches on his left side. I mean, I'm not very good at that. But if you keep rolling all that together, that is mid 170s all day long.
I'll just say it does go to show you, and this is during the run. He shot that like opening day gun season. I'm pretty sure it was.
Get in contact with him and see it in person.
No, I don't know if I want to get in contact with him and see it.
Yeah,
but it does go to show you. So the guy that shot that, he's a couple miles down the road, but during the rut they travel and they move big time. And
this guy has a weird background too.
It goes to show you. Yeah, he's poached here and there from what I know, but
I made a little joke when you sent me that. I said, "Hey, that looks like your field."
Yeah. oh well, there's nothing we can do about it now. It was discouraging, but thank God it was at the end of the season, so we were sticking with it until probably late December. Same night that guy showed up on camera where Phil was showing those pictures, we had another guy that we had seen the last 3 years. And so 3 years ago, I bet he was a 3-year-old. Got him the next year. So he's a 12-pointer when he was, I bet, 3 or 4. Got him the next year. He dropped off one of his split G2s and he dropped off a kicker. I want to say he was a 10 or 9-pointer.
Which one was this? Was that the?
Gosh, it might be
No, it's
just the antlers for me. The other ones. Or so here, actually,
small left or left split?
Left split.
Yeah.
So this is this year, and we saw him one night, and it was that's a regular for him. We usually see him a bunch during the season. He's usually
and you got sheds off this deer, right? Is this the deer?
Yeah, 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
So this is a pretty killable buck. I've seen him one year at 75 yards. It was before I had a tape sight, before I was cocky with my bow, and no way I was taking that shot. And I don't know. Halfway glad I let him go. We saw him the next year.
I don't know if
nobody had a shot.
Say he's very killable. I don't see one daylight picture of this deer.
2 years ago, he was extremely killable. And that's one of those.
Look at the width on that bed.
That's what I'm saying. So
look at his brows.
His brows
as long as brows are. I love sexy brows. How much you?
But so that left split is like his signature. He's had it every single year. And it was so weird. Night of the 16th, morning of the 17th. That was the only night that we saw him. And after that, like, disappeared ghost. I don't know if he's dead. I don't know what happened to him.
Yeah.
Never saw him again.
You skimped out on your food plots this year. He came back looking for that greenery.
Yeah, but I don't know, because that field that he's in right now, it's clover and alfalfa, and they hit it hard every year, no matter what.
Well, this one's labeled Front Bean Path.
We had to change the name on that camera yet.
Oh, this one's alfalfa.
Yeah. Alfalfa,
did it grow good?
Alfalfa corner box. There you go.
Did it grow good?
We had a little bit of alfalfa in there. Our farmer had passed away, so then we overseeded with clover. So it was kind of a mix.
Shit.
But he disappeared after that night. We never saw him again.
Well, here in Missouri, I'm pretty sure it's like everywhere else. We had a absolutely terrible drought this year. And
well, during the summer, I mean, and don't get me wrong, we could have done better. We could have planned on it.
That's a good deer. Let's talk about this other one. Like there's another good deer in here.
There's another split G2 buck. He's a little bit smaller than that one.
A
little bit smaller, yeah. And this is not a great picture of him. I got some better pictures. I'll throw on the video a little bit later, but so this buck, I'm not going to say he's new because I have an idea.
Is that a split G2 right there?
Yeah, so a split G2 on his left. He's a 9-pointer. And so I have seen him. My brother had him at 45 yards. He's young, doesn't pull enough, and just going to get a shot off. Had him at 45 yards, takes a video with his phone, lets him go early season. Shows me the video. I'm like, oh, that's great. So that's actually, there's a stand right behind this camera. And like, imagine that.
It's the same scrape that 14-pointer was on?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, same thing. Yeah.
So same scrape that other big left split was on. Split G2 was on.
Damn.
And so that buck, my brother saw early season. Come like U season, late October, I see that buck, same stand right there. He comes out, say 60 yards past where he is right now, daylight.
Holy shit.
Run at him, doesn't stop, keeps going down to the ag fields. Won't stop, nothing. So next time I move up to his bedding area, kind of where my dad was sitting when he missed that 14-pointer.
Right.
And it is pouring down ash rain. I mean, like, and taking hand, it's the U season still. My uncle, he wants to get his son out there early. He's like, guys, come on, let's go. They're sitting in box line. They're not worried about the rain or anything. Like, let's give it 30, 40 minutes. Let's just wait a little bit. We sit out there for 2 hours in the rain because you want to get out early.
Right.
Sitting there, soaking ass wet. It's cold out. Hands in my pockets. Rain stops. I'm like, all right, it's going to get good now, all right? And a couple does trickle out. Starts getting dark a little bit. Like, confidence is fading. And I look up, coming out of this corner out of my neighbor's property. Here he comes. And, like, there's not a doubt in my mind that he's going to come into 20 yards. I know the path that they walk. So I had a shot at him at 35, but he's coming on a string to me. So I get my bow, I get drawn back, and he's behind this cedar tree. He's got to take 5 steps. And I mean, it's a 15-yard, just a plink right down. Sitting behind this cedar tree, kind of like sticks his nose up in there like he's going to wind you. Looks right at the base of my tree, looks up, takes off the other way, and I'm flabbergasted. It's pouring down rain, right? It was pouring down rain. I couldn't.
It was raining at this moment?
No, before that, though. And it's one of those, I'm like, there's no way scent is in the air. There's no way he's dragging my scent from getting in.
Were you soaking wet or were you dry this whole time?
I was soaking wet.
I don't know, man. When it rains, these deer have their senses just go right through the roof. Their nose is absolutely incredible.
Right. And so he gets away that time, and whatever. It's fine. He'll be a bigger buck next year, and I can live with that. But
I would have probably drop kicked my bow out of the tree, down.
Well, that's one of those. It's like you don't even want to hang it up. You're like, I can't believe that just happened. He's got to be circling around or something. You're trying to trick yourself. You're trying to trick yourself into something like, oh, he's going to come back.
Yeah, you're watching.
Right. The next week, my dad sits in a stand that like nobody would ever think of. It's in the middle of this field, like the little patch of trees, but these deer travel through this field.
Intel.
He gets a shot at him. Doesn't shoot, gets drawn back at 30 yards. Same thing. It's a little bitty pine tree that we planted. Standing behind it, he's grunting at him. Don't move and just keeps walking. Nothing.
When was this?
No, this is probably right before November. I mean, it's late October. It's youth season. A lot made it out toward the first,
That's starting right.
Yeah. So
what a shame, dude.
That's pretty much my season. I don't know. I learned a lot. There's some early season bucks.
You had a lot of encounters with a lot of different whitetails, and kudos to you. I mean, first of all,
I've passed on a lot.
Let's clarify that you've never killed a whitetail with your bow.
I have,
and you have been in the tree countless hours. Like
I have.
It is unreal.
Videos of decent deer.
And you're holding out. Like I am impressed. I'm very impressed.
He's waiting to get on that big one.
Dude, it's very impressive. Like,
well, I told you that earlier. I fit some branches before.
Yeah,
and that's pretty heartbreaking. Like I held out for a long time. We have 2 properties. One's 40 acres, and it's like we don't hunt a lot. I got drawn back on our biggest buck on that big wide 10. And I'm pumped. He's coming in, get drawn back. I'm like, I don't know, it's 40 yards through the woods, but I think I'd make it. I see the gap. I shoot, hits a branch, glares off, and shoots right into it. And I'm sitting there, and this deer doesn't even move. I mean, he's just sitting there looking at me. I knock up another one. I'm waiting for him to come in the power line cut, walks off. And it's like
the only time that I've ever
sickening.
Bounced an arrow or ricochet and it worked was Adam was in the tree with me one time. And it was pouring down rain kind of deal. We're sitting out there and it just stopped. The deer's trickling out and the doe came in and she's kind of walking between these little group of trees. And, there's 5 yards between each tree or so. So then she walks up and I'm going to slide this arrow between these trees. It's about 35-yard shot. Easy money.
Mm-hmm.
I shoot, and as I shoot, as the shooter, you could see the arrow path. So
right.
I see this thing just whack this tree. I'm like, shit, game over, miss a deer. Adam is over here, and he's like, you hit that deer. And I'm like, I watched the arrow.
Right.
I 100% was, and I did watch
it. Did you have Luminites on?
No. And it was getting towards evening. And it was raining. He was like, we're going to lose the blood trail if you did. So we waited about 15 or 20. He was like, we'll go check. Sure as hell, there was a chunk taken out of this tree, but the arrow was covered in blood. And I hit this girl perfect right in the shoulder. But the arrow hit the tree and she was standing so close to it, it deflected, hit her here, and the arrow came out her ass cheek. So it passed through her vitals.
I bet that's good.
Oh, it was the worst cut I ever did in my life. And it was pouring down rain again by the time we did all this. So now I'm like soaking wet. It's raining everywhere. It's nasty deer.
That's our difference. I hit a tree like 40 fucking yards in front of the deer.
Yeah,
taking hand, it was at like 42, so I hit it pretty close to me.
I had like open shot. I thought I was slick enough to slide in there, and I shot, and thank God it hit her, downed her, not wounded her or nothing, but like it barely hit this tree and deflected enough to take a chunk, but she was standing so close to the tree, it just hit her right after it hit the tree, and boom, boom, like went right through her, but my arrow trajectory was like a 90-degree turn for this deer, and I will say she only went about 15 yards because she was toast right after the arrow went through all the vitals and everything else on the way out.
It's so funny because we were talking about raccoon hunting earlier. And I was telling you how somebody told me that you don't need to shoot 50 yards with your bow, blah, blah, blah. So I tried to shoot 40 through the woods at a deer, hit a tree. I shot 50, like I told you earlier, through the woods, and I hit a raccoon with it. And I was sitting there with my dad. He was telling me, he's like, oh, you're never going to shoot 50 with your bow. And I'm like, how can I thread it 50 yards through trees and hit a raccoon? Right. But I can't hit a deer. And, yeah, like,
oh, man. We're at our first hour, boys. We're keeping going. I mean, we saved the best for last. I mean, is it my turn?
Yeah, we got the fancy edit guy now. Phil's had more time than the rest of us to prepare. He's been a little more invested than the rest. Like his
editing. Hold on. Wait up.
If I got to hunt up north, I'd probably shoot that many deer too.
No, absolutely not.
No. Phil spends a lot of time and he does a lot of work, money research. He spends a lot of money, but he spends a lot of time doing it right to produce his big deer that he shoots. You know, you got to give it to him that he puts in the work to produce the big deer.
Yes.
But, you know, you're about to see, Phil's going to show you the season recap, and you're going to see the result of when you put in the work and you hunt big deer, you pass on those deer.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
You're going to see his season recap. It's a little fancier than the rest of ours. Going down the line, and I have him edit up my season.
I like giving him shit, but no, he does a good job.
Yeah, he puts in the work.
And I don't know, if you want to learn something, you can learn something from Phil. If you look at this wall behind him, I mean,
these are all Phil's deer's
work right there. So
I have 2 more at the taxidermist. So they'll be here.
Don't get caught.
It's all Phil's work. We'll give it to him. Everything on the wall is Phil's work.
I won't help you dress up the next one.
He's a big deer hunter. He puts in the work, and definitely you can learn something.
I don't know. If you hunt up north, I feel like I do it too.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding, guys.
He puts himself in situations to shoot big deer. Is the deal.
I think I work harder at not necessarily finding big deer, but
buying big deer.
He works harder at finding big deer than he does at making money.
Kind of took the words out of my mouth right there.
Sir, can I take?
I have a crazy obsession. My boss knows it. It's just hard to put into words. It eats my mind. Sometimes I can't sleep if I can't find something. I can't figure something out. It's hard to realize what I'm trying to do here. But
like, as a whitetail hunter, you kind of got to get it. And I mean, whether whitetail or turkey or whatnot, but it's an addiction. Like, you hear that hunter, you got you set the hook, pull the trigger.
Outdoors life.
I think every like big deer killer, every big buck killer has that one moment in their head that it just fucking triggers. And I think this year...
Oh, I can picture it, yeah.
I mean, I've had success almost every single year for the past 7 years for bow hunting, but this year is when it really all clicked. Like I don't
know. I think you had a pretty good year when you got, what was it? That guy there and that guy there?
Yeah, it's been a few years clicking.
I don't know.
I think you've had a couple
years. This year, though, was your first year
tagging out in 2 states.
Tag out in 2 states, yeah. So you tagged out here in Missouri, and then you have a farm in Illinois, too. Central East, or Central Western Illinois.
Central Western Illinois.
Yeah, so
let's
start
Missouri.
All the way back to day 1, September 15th.
Yeah, I had hunting opening day.
I had a heartbreak story.
I remember getting this text.
I remember it too, yeah.
You two got a text, but I don't think you all heard any of the remote full story of it. So I got off work early, and I went to the lease on September 15th. It was a Friday. I remember it like it was yesterday. And
which for you that aren't from Missouri, that is opening day, Missouri.
Opening day.
Like, first day you can shoot a deer in Missouri.
I have gone, 7-8 months without being in a tree stand hunting whitetails. So my anxiety is through the roof. I have, so where I'm heading to is a tree stand that constantly produces big whitetails early season. So I'm going to pan over to...
You say produces big whitetails early season. What do you got? Food, water, or what do you want?
What's stand here?
Pasture. Believe it or not. It's surrounded by ag.
See, when I think early season, I think water. I think it's hot.
So where I'm at is...
It's one of the future members there.
Yeah, my son. So... Here we are here. So I'm going to pan over to... That was there. So I'm on a farm that usually holds big whitetails every year.
Freak deer.
I can see where some of those pictures
were. All right. So this is the stand I was sitting right here. I am in the very corner
to the left of this deer.
Different deer? I was hunting this deer. This is the deer we call CJ. Yeah. Which... I'll get on this topic too.
Him and I have some controversy over this.
Okay, so CJ,
I'd shoot the shit out of CJ, but you know what? If he's young, and let him live. I guess.
I know a lot of people are going to agree with me here. CJ is only 3.5 years old.
Yeah. His body looks young. His antlers look big. Yeah.
So the deer I killed on this farm was obviously smaller than him, but he was way more mature than him.
Yeah.
So this deer, CJ, the reason I named him CJ is because of Casper Jr. This is his dad. I don't even know if Scotland's seen these pictures yet. Let me go back here. This is his dad on the same camera.
Oh, this is the...
look at that on the big screen.
It's a freak here. The one that disappeared.
I'm sorry, but I think that camera's overheating for sure.
Just let it cool for a while.
Feel it. It's like hot too.
Is it hot?
It's hard to hold almost.
Alright, it's overheating. But anyway. Been chasing this deer for 3 years.
So that's the S farm, yeah?
Yeah, that's the S farm. There's a reason we called him Casper. This motherfucker was a ghost. I got close to him one time, but it was way after shooting.
If you were to score that deer by the look of him, what would you put him at? 200, 210?
Oh, I'd say between 200 and 225.
I mean, that's a deer people dream about. I mean, seriously, that's not even something I could put in my imagination. And
I'm gonna pull up a slight little clip of this deer. And
how many years did you hunt this deer?
3 years.
3 years, yeah.
I have his shed.
You have confidence he's still out there?
No, that deer's dead.
How long has it been since you've seen him? A couple of years?
Since October 8th of 2022.
Yeah.
He's dead.
Yeah.
This deer lived on the farm.
You talked to any of your neighbors? They kill him?
I don't know any of my neighbors on this farm, which sucks. But I am very good friends with the landowner, and I showed him the picture of this whitetail, and which a lot of people wouldn't do because a picture like that gets out on the farm that you lease. I 100% promise you, people are going to try to lease that lease up from under you.
Right.
And
we have to pay a lot of money for
that. We have a very close relationship.
I mean, just wait to see this video. I mean, this is an absolute...
We're going to hit play right here, and the 2 seconds you see this deer...
Let's give him his 2 moments of silence. I mean, really. Okay. Just take it all in.
No, it's overheating. All right, here we go. Big screen.
Just let him. I mean...
Absolute monster of
This
a too.
freak.
So this deer that I'm talking about, CJ, he's got a lot of the same characteristics. So here he is last
CJ's on the S farm.
Yes.
Okay. I thought he
that's
was
why I think
I thought he was on the farm that we were hunting.
No.
I see. Okay.
See, here he is in 2022.
Okay. I thought he was on the farm that we were at.
That is him in 2022.
Late season and
very same characteristics.
See, but this S farm,
junky brow.
You have some pictures of deer off this farm. Like, I don't know what is in the ground there, but this farm grows giant deer.
So,
well, the S farm, I mean,
they grow giant deer there.
But that picture there, those look like the early sheds of Casper.
Exactly.
So yeah,
I guarantee you, this deer right here is 2.5 years old.
I'm talking about shooting him. I completely thought that was at the Star Farm.
Star Farm?
Yeah.
No, it's not. This is the S Farm. So here he is again. A bigger field of view of him. It's
look at his body.
But then again,
he looks young.
Look at the date, 2022. This was last year, not this year. That was last year. So I am going to pull up 2023, a good video of this deer. But when I actually seen him in person, I passed him. But just wait. It is. Let's go back here. Pull up 2023.
God, there's some giants out there, man.
I love this farm.
Show the unicorn. Show the unicorn.
We gotta show the unicorn. All right, he's.
There's one.
I think we gotta get to him later.
That close picture. Unicorn buck. That guy's a freak. So that's
one like.
Yeah, this ground just grows wild.
He's so old.
This is amazing deer.
No, he's not.
Property. He's not.
That deer's only 4.5 years old.
There, you showed him big shed. You showed me big shed on the wall.
That is a big.
We think that's his next.
Showing me big sheds for 2 years. He's more than 4. Come on.
No, he's not, because I've watched this deer for the past 2 years, and the first year the first year I've seen him, he was this big. Yeah, but you can see the point out of
he's
got that same unicorn point.
When he sheds that, does he drop that unicorn? Does he drop that with his antler, or does he drop that separate?
I don't know. I've never found it.
You gotta get on in there.
The only side I've ever found of that deer is the opposite side without the unicorn. Anyway, let me get back to there's CJ right.
Tune in later this season. We're gonna find his sheds.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's an episode.
Shed season is real. So let me. Oh, there's unicorn again right there. Let me go back to. Okay, so there's CJ. There's a deer I call Tank. His body, I promise you, is 300 pounds. That deer's 300 pounds.
Yeah.
Because the deer that I killed was right at 280, 290, and this deer's bigger.
You see his gullet hanging down there?
Yeah.
That's an older deer too. Yeah.
Oh, this deer's every bit of 8 years old. I have video footage from him from.
See, and that's awesome. I love
at least 7 years
on the farm. That
you can watch
deer
that holds big deer.
Yeah, it can grow old. It's comfortable there. That's awesome.
So anyway, back to September 15th. We're getting off track here. September 15th.
September.
Yeah, I haven't even started yet. I really have to take a piss. So I'm going to finish the September 15th story, take a piss, and come back.
Well, I'm happy because we only got about 30 minutes left.
What?
You better get going.
Oh, with video footage?
On a card.
Oh, all right. Anyway, so September 15th. I'm hunting the stand that CJ keeps continually visiting. And I go in there to try to hunt him. But this other deer that I've never seen before, don't have one picture of it, comes in. I am up in the tree. Comes in last light. Like, I can still see my pin, so I know it's still shooting light. The scope housing I'm shooting, when it's not legal shooting hours, you can't see the pin. So I don't even look at my phone. But he comes in 15 yards. 15 yards. I put that pin, I settled that pin right where it needs to be, squeeze the release, okay? I wish I had a picture to show you, but I don't. But squeeze and release, I thought I smoked this deer, 100%, right behind the shoulder. He runs off. I'm like, all right, I can still see the arrow because it straight pass through. Go down, look at the arrow. It completely covered in blood. Like it blood head to toe. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to have a good blood trail. I'm going to go back to the truck because my dad, Adam, and my nephew were on their way down there.
Yep.
And went back to the truck, waited there for them to show up. And it a good 2 hours. And got back to the truck on the e-bike, which was really fun. First experience with an e-bike. But got back, waited for them.
Fallouts with some e-bike.
That's a different topic. But came back. They finally showed up. I'm like, all right, so we all pile in my truck. We go down, go back to the stand, find the arrow. It's still lit up because I'm shooting Luminox, whatever. And follow the blood trail. And it looks really good. It's just bubbly as can be. We keep going. We keep going.
Dude, I mean, I remember you sending me pictures of it.
Wasn't that like the most bubbly blood you've ever seen?
It's one of those where you're confident.
He's not
right
very far.
over the next hill.
Yeah,
like
So I keep going. I'm 100 yards in. I'm confused why I haven't found this deer yet. And I get to the next 200. I'm like, 200 yards in, no white tail.
And 200 yards is a
long way. You still got blood.
I still got blood, but it starts raining at this point. So I'm going to keep going because I know in the morning, if I back out, there's going to be no blood.
Yeah.
So I keep going. I don't know if I jumped this deer. I didn't find any beds or anything. I keep going. And I'm on the neighbor's property. Obviously, I called, get permission.
Yeah.
But the neighbor's property is actually cousins with the landowner. So it was really easy to get permission. So I am 200-300 yards into this blood trail right now. No deer. No deer.
Which when you have blood like you did, what you did.
And I still had blood.
Like, well, that's
still good blood.
Blood like you did 300 yards.
It was
a long blood trail. Can't believe it.
It was unreal that this deer had still any blood. We got to the end of this finger.
It was looking like a lung shot.
Yeah.
Easy.
It was at least one lung. But one lung deer can go a long way.
Right.
Yeah. So we got to the end of this finger, and there's nothing around but standing corn. Like there's standing corn on both sides of the slope. A little strip of finger, probably 60 yards wide by 400 or 500 yards long. And we get to the very end of it. So 500 yards deep. Still blood, still nothing. We step foot out into the corn, and that's when the blood just vanishes. So I didn't know what to do. Like I did not know what to do. I wish I had a piece of equipment that might be coming later into this podcast. If you keep watching, might be legit. But anyway, keep going. We went back the next day. We backed out. Went back to the camper, slept. Everybody else went out, but I went back to where I was. I started going up and down corn rows, trying to do everything that I could to find this deer. Nothing.
I mean, like,
not another
real quick, you got to explain. I think we've all been there. Like, you follow a blood trail for so long.
It's a heartbreak.
And you can't find an ounce of blood after so long. Like, that is like, it's such a gut feeling. Like, just like, heart drop. You're like,
it's maybe he jumped.
Maybe right. Yeah, exactly.
So, and I started my season with a true.
So opening day, Missouri opening day, you smoke show a fucking shooter buck you've not seen on camera. Nice shooter buck, 15 yards, trailing for 500 yards. Can't find him next day. You go back, can't find him next day.
This deer was mid-50s.
And
100% mid-50s.
Then you move on. Now you're hunting other deer. Right?
Fuck off.
So the rest of the season you're hunting other deer.
I'm going to stop it there. Because I have to take a piss. We're going to go for a smoke break. We're going to take a pause in this video. We will be right back. All right, we are back. That was probably the longest smoke break. What was it, a week?
Yeah.
We had some technical difficulties. We looked back at the footage,
and realized our audio was absolute trash. So we kind of upgraded a little bit. So hopefully it sounds a little bit better for y'all. We also were very drunk. And you couldn't really understand us all that well. So we just totally trashed that last part. So we're going to start over. Anyway, where did I leave off? I think I talked about...
just finished up your first buck,
I think we're on your second buck.
No, I talked about my September 15th.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Then we talked about Casper.
Yeah.
All right, first buck. Rolling all the way back to October 14th. I'm on an airplane back from work, and I get a cell cam picture of some very impressive whitetails.
What job were you on?
I'm not going into detail on that one. But yeah, there was that buck I call CJ. He showed up around, it's like 8 o'clock in the morning with two other bucks. One little raghorn 8-pointer and this 9-pointer that I really never paid attention to because he didn't look like a shooter until I saw him in person. And here, anyway, he showed up at, I believe it was like 8 o'clock. It's on here somewhere. But where this area is, the big bedding area. And it's very risky going in there, especially this early.
Throw that on full screen.
I think it's way back here. It's in this area right here. It's on the same camera. But I am way deep in this here.
Enough of it. We could do better about being organized on this. Thought you were ready.
I'm the least organizational person. You probably know.
Least organization.
Whatever. Oh, that's the one I killed right there.
Buck. So where are you in the frame?
So
here?
I am on the top right in my saddle up here. When I arrive to St. Louis Airport, I immediately hop in my car and head to the lease because I know this deer's killable and I know he's going to be exactly where he was 8 hours ago. Oh, here we go. This is the video I get.
Big old bachelor group.
Of this deer right here. So the one I killed is all the way on the right, but CJ's fighting with this little raghorn, and you can see right here that this deer is really mature. Pushes this deer off. You can see his briskets hanging down to the ground.
Yeah, he's old.
Yeah, big body too.
He's thick.
So I get there. I get there a little bit late, actually. It was like 3:30, I believe. I wanted to be in the tree a lot earlier.
I feel like I remember texting you about that.
Yeah. But get to the lease, throw my e-bike out of the back of the car. Fucking fly all the way down to this big point. It's like a big draw that comes out. Get to the end of the draw, and there's this big, deep creek in this. So I hop down in the creek so nothing sees me walking in. I go, 400 yards to another draw. And once I get there, I have to completely cross this whole finger because of the wind direction. Mm-hmm. It was coming from the south, and I was on the north side. No, I was on the south side, which my wind would be blowing all the way through this bedding area. So I had to loop all the way back around so none of these would smell me. And I don't think I bumped any deer going in there, but I don't know for sure. I didn't see any deer fly past this camera, and this is right in their bed. So I didn't have a pre-hung set or anything. I had my saddle and my sticks on my back, which I got these new Tethered One sticks. Have you seen them yet?
Your lightweights?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, they don't weigh nothing. They're incredible.
Those are nice.
I have the tethered Skeletors, and I mean, like, your one sticks compared to those are, like, they don't weigh anything.
Yeah, it's half the weight. The Skeletors are two.
Yeah. I mean, that's what makes it easy to pack that.
Yeah.
When you have to go that 400 yards around the field.
I'm not a big weight nut, but when you have to walk 800 yards,
even just a
it's
bow
a big difference.
Starts to weigh a lot.
Right.
And you're trying to stalk and be quiet.
So right.
Yeah. Yep.
So anyway, I set up my saddle gear. I get up in the tree. I'm not very high either. I think you saw how high I was.
Yeah, you.
I was like
nestled next to this nasty locust tree.
Not even 8 feet off.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, I could probably almost jump up and grab my saddle platform.
It's a tight spot.
I couldn't get up any higher. All these trees in here, they're either leaning at like a 45-degree angle or they're locust trees.
Have you ever gotten up high in one of those ones that's all bent over?
I tried.
I've done it before, but I had a branch coming out, so I tied my tether onto that branch. I mean, it was a thick one, but like it was.
It's kind of one of those groves where it has those crazy trees that overhang, and it has all those nasty trees. No traditional tree to set a tree stand in.
I mean,
if you didn't have a saddle,
just that little opening, they were probably all fighting for the sun.
Yeah. And if you didn't have a saddle, it would be so hard to hunt this opening. I will say that was
you can't get a hang on it.
Yeah,
that's when the saddle is really nice, especially like when you're going for a good distance or when you have a fucked up tree you got to hang in.
Or to get into like little holes like this where these big bucks are comfortable and they come out in shooting daylight to get into those holes.
Like, you kind of need mobile hunting.
See
like,
what time
with
climbers?
Yeah, I'm not big on the climbers. I've done too many sliding down tree maneuvers in the climbers.
I've climbers for so long, and when I got my saddle, it was so nice, so much lighter, so much easier, so much easier.
I'm excited to play with one this year.
They're fun.
Oh yeah, they are fun. I fell in love with them 2 years ago.
So you get this video.
Yeah, I get this video. It is 8:01 a.m.
So you work your way, and now you're in this grove. You're setting your stand.
Yeah.
So you're setting your stand at 3:30.
Yep, right at 3:30. Okay. I finally get up in the tree, and I get everything settled. I look at my phone. I think I'm texting Anthony at this point.
Yeah.
When are you thinking he's coming through?
Was it 4:30?
It was definitely like
it was early.
It
was early. It was right when this dude got up from his bed.
No, I remember you texted me. I was still at work.
Yeah.
And I think I went and got one of the other guys. I was like, yeah, Phil just fucking shot one.
But
asshole.
Yeah, it was a pretty neat experience. But it was like 4 o'clock. I'm steady up in the tree, and not even 15 minutes goes by. I see my first deer. I'm like, oh shit, it's gonna go down. So the first deer I see was this little raghorn 8-pointer that we see here in this video. I'm like, okay, I'm just waiting for these other two, but they didn't come in right away. It was another 15 minutes goes by. This deer is long gone by that point. And the next deer I saw was this big hog of a 9-pointer. Like the body on this thing, I wish you could have seen it. And
oh, he's thick.
He's very thick.
An early
you can see it right there in that picture. Yeah. He looks built.
He's a hog. But he comes in first. I'm looking at him. I'm like, damn, that is a good deer. Like he's got a lot of mass to him. And then he comes in. He's working. He's kind of browsing on some of this shit. It's just real tall grass, real weedy. A lot of locusts in there. I don't know. What locust tree do they feed on? They feed on some kind of locust.
Honey locust. Honey locust. It's a legume.
Yeah,
and they have like the whatever shit that falls off of them, but then also like just the browse and stuff when they're flowering out.
Yep. So he's working. He's just browsing about 40 yards. Kind of like right behind this camera is where this deer showed up. And then I see another rat coming in, and it's the deer I call CJ. And you can see the two side by side, the body difference between CJ and this 9-pointer. I didn't have a name for him because I didn't really know him. I mean, I got a few pictures of him, but I didn't really pay attention to it. But
I mean, CJ's even closer in that deer.
Yeah, and that still looks bigger.
Yeah. But he's the mature buck.
Yeah, he's
that's
very
the
mature.
buck you're wanting to take.
Mm-hmm. So he comes in. I'm looking at him. They're literally standing right next to each other. And this is the time where I'm clicking record on the GoPro. I only had one with me, and it was the one that was on my bow. I don't know why I didn't have the other angle, but
it's still a pretty good
it's
shot.
A very good video. So he comes in. Let's see if I can't pull that video up. I might not have it. But he comes in, he works, he heads to me. CJ works his way around. So I don't even know if I could have got a shot on him, but I probably could have poked him at 40 on this one opening.
This 9-pointer or CJ?
CJ.
You said you were letting CJ go.
I did. I made up my mind because he just seemed way more mature.
Yeah.
But
I mean, and you think CJ is some relation to that freak we talked about, Casper?
Yep.
Yeah, so he's got
That boy's got some potential,
yeah.
I can't find the video. I'm so unorganized. Oh, here it is, right here. All right, he comes in.
Look at that locust tree.
Oh, yeah. Dangerous. There he is, right here. Right in front of me. That's 40 right here. CJ was working right through here. I probably could have got an arrow in there, but I made up my mind already. So he comes in. Right here, he's right at 35. I draw. He's looking at me. I didn't shoot right here because he was slightly quartering 2. Stop him right here. Smacked him at 35. He runs off. Look, you gotta watch my my reaction here. It's pretty funny.
Dude, those new GoPros, the stabilization in them, it's crazy.
You didn't even see the bow go off, did you?
What I mean.
There was no shock. There was no nothing.
I had one like the first ones, like the Hero 3, and I tried to shoot it with my old bow, and like it was just shade. Like it's not even worth trying. You know?
Did you see those? Have you messed with them Tacticam bow mount ones?
I have not.
No, I think they're
the stabilizer ones.
I don't. I mean, I've seen videos of them, but the shock with the bow, you can't even see what.
Well, that's what I mean. It's yeah.
These new GoPros they're crazy. So if you ever wanted a camera on your bow, the GoPro 10s and up, I think the GoPro 9 has the stabilization too.
To be safe, it is. Yeah, 10s and up for sure.
It's like a hyper boost mode on this GoPro, and it's phenomenal.
People in the camera game are calling it the gimbal killer.
The gimbal killer?
People are buying less gimbals because like the optical steady shot and all that.
Like if you're holding this GoPro in your hand and you're shaking it, it doesn't even look like you're shaking it. It's staying steady.
Yeah. I
don't know how it works, but it works. But anyway, I'm jacked right here. So I'm a pan this camera around.
Seems like it.
Let's go, baby.
I was so jacked, man.
This is like the next day at work. We're watching this like over and over again.
Thanking God right here. The big man always making it happen.
Those are one of those hunts where like I love hunting with a buddy.
Mm-hmm.
And the only time where it's like, yeah, we got to split up for sure is the rut. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I love fucking being a part of like in the tree watching it. It's just as fun as actually shooting.
Even like dragging out or just being
involved,
watching something.
Yeah.
So even cooler with that deer. That deer, when I was on my way in, I set that cell camera on video.
Yeah.
Because I kind of knew this was going to happen because I was very aggressive very early. I'm never like that, but I'm like, this deer's killable. If I bump him, I bump him. If not, I'm killing him. Mm-hmm. I was confident I was going to kill him. But check out this trail camera video. There he is. I'm in the tree up at the top right corner. Walking. Stop him right here. Boom. Arrow. Ooh. You saw that white fletch and come out the backside.
Yeah, perfect exit.
Yeah. Anyway, he runs off. I kind of didn't find blood right away. I mean, I found the arrow and there's soaked in blood, but I hit him kind of
back up or something.
A little higher on the lung, but the way it was angled, the arrow kind of went down. It was like top of the lung and then middle of the lung on the backside.
Gotcha.
So he went 20 yards and then finally the rage just poured all over the place. So it wasn't that hard of a blood trail, but I'm walking. I don't know where the blood
was this the one where he died tangled up and all that shit?
Yeah. I don't know where the video is. I'm just struggling right now. Sorry.
I know. We're going to be 4 hours into your story.
All right. Anyway.
Struggle this long.
So I was blood tracking this deer, and he didn't go that far. He went like 40 yards. But I finally went up to him. I looked down. I'm by myself.
How long did you wait?
A good hour.
Yeah.
I got down probably around 5:30.
That anticipation.
It's the
big
worst.
on waiting.
Yeah,
I'm
so
big on waiting.
But I knew I hit him good. I'm like, he's not going to go far. He'll expire pretty fast. But I get down. I'm blood trailing. Went about 40 yards. Finally found him. And I walk up to this deer. I'm speechless. I'm like, oh my God. This deer is 300 pounds. I'm by myself in the middle of the woods.
How am I going to move it?
I'm like, I don't even know what the hell I'm going to do. So I go back, get on my e-bike, go all the way back to my car, and I'm in a Ford Escape.
You got to get one of those e-bike trailers. You seen those?
Oh, yeah, dude.
That'd be nice.
I don't know if this e-bike has enough ass to do it, though. It's only like a 500 watt. These other big ones are like 1,000, 750.
Could you get back there with the e-bike?
Not in the woods, no.
Yeah.
But again, I'm on this narrow strip of woods. It's probably 50 yards wide. Mm. That's why, I mean, I love these little narrow strips because you can see both sides. You can see anything rolling through there. But
I mean, it narrows down where they're going to be too.
Right. And so I get in my car. I'm working all the way around, and I drive like a half a mile through this bean field, and it was a little wet. I was kind of skeptical about it, but I said, fuck it. Cause the farmer was there. If I got stuck, he brought the tractor.
Right.
So
been there before.
I am doing the 2-step method. You know what I mean? Like 2 hands on the antler, take 2 steps back, squat them, like deadlift them.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Take a couple breaths.
Yeah. I finally get him to the edge of the woods, and I have another problem. Barbed wire fence. I'm like, how in the hell? So I got into my car. I'm like, I have to have something to cut this fence. So they used to have cattle on it. That's why the fence was there. Yeah. So this farmer, he wouldn't give a shit if I cut the fence.
That's how our farm was. We took all the fencing down, all the barbed wire,
wrapped
it up.
Right. And I cut the fence. I finally found pliers in my car, and I cut the fence. Got them through, and I have one of them like little, I don't even know those little hatch things on the back of your car that carry like luggage and shit. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I'm gonna put this deer on that cart. It took me like 7 or 8 tries to get him up there. Yeah. I finally got him up there. I'm winded.
One half at a time.
Yeah. So I got back to the camper with this deer. I hung him up, and I have a scale, but the scale said 230 pounds, but this deer's head wasn't even off the ground. It couldn't go high enough. Yeah. So the full field dressed weight was probably, I'd say 250 field dressed. So I don't even know what he would be dead weight. Close to 300. Yeah. Gotta be 50 pounds of guts in there. They're heavy.
50?
Probably. Yeah.
You think?
A deer that big? Yeah, probably.
He's very close to 300. Anyway, I get back to the camper. I'm celebrating. I'm drinking a lot of bourbon. And I get home, get them all cleaned up. So what's next? My Illinois deer? Yeah, Illinois. We're going to fast forward to October 30th, day before Halloween. It was that big cold front, that killer cold front. You know that? Yeah. Oh, man. It was probably the best time to be in the woods.
Yep.
So I'm getting pictures left and right on.
I don't think if I was out or not.
You weren't.
Yeah, I wasn't.
You were working somewhere. Out of town, I think. I don't know. Anyway. Yeah. So I get to the farm. It's early. It's like really early. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning, I think. 5. But anyway, I get in the tree. It is stupid cold, and I was not prepared for it. I think I just had a little jacket and maybe 2 layers of pants on. And I am freezing in the tree. I get a cell cam picture of this really big 6-pointer. And it's like not even 100 yards away from me. So I'm like, all right, cool. This deer, he comes falling down this ridge line, and I'm sitting in this big gas line opening. And I have a food plot planted in the middle of it. It's by Big Time. It's called Buck Brunch. This shit, will grow in the back of your pickup truck.
It looked good last time.
It's sexy. You'll roll your ankle with all them turnips in there. But
yeah, there were some bolts.
I see this 6-pointer come working through, and I get another cell camera picture of another deer that I was actually after. Mm-hmm. And kind of the same frame as the one I killed, but he had stickers everywhere. He was like 14 or 15 points. He had like split G2s and just trash everywhere. Gosh. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, I hope he follows this 6-pointer. So right after I'm watching this 6-pointer walk off, I look to my right. Here comes another deer. And all I see was his frame.
What time is all this at? Like first light or like?
No, it was probably an hour after first light.
Gotcha.
But
the worst is when you're sitting there waiting and like deer don't start moving. So
like man,
10:30 and you're like,
yeah.
Those in the morning, you're like, I should just get down.
Right,
but if you don't get down, you will see lots of deer.
right.
I know.
But what if I don't?
I mean, I was cold to the point where I was like shivering. I'm like, I'm debating life at this point. I'm like, why am I in this fucking tree?
Do I care about it that much?
I do.
Yeah.
But
no, yeah.
so I see this deer come in. I see his frame. I just look at his antlers for a split second. I'm like, it's him. Don't look at his antlers anymore. That's what I do. Like, because I'll get the jitters bad.
You can do that when you're bow hunting. You cannot do that when you're gun hunting.
No.
When it's at 250 and you look at it through like a scope, you're like, that's a good one.
That's
you
a good
shoot
one.
it, then you walk up to it and you're like,
Yep. But anyway, this deer comes in, and I first see him at like 30 yards because it's pretty thick in there. And he comes strolling on through. He enters the gas line where I'm at. He's on
that gas line. Did he enter? Because we walked through it the other week. Did he enter from like that smaller strip of woods or like the big woods that run up like by your house and stuff up there?
The big woods.
Okay.
Yeah, he comes working down from our ag fields out back, and he's working his way to me.
Gotcha.
So I just see his antlers coming through, and I'm like, all right, it's him. So I grab my bow, I get situated, and again, I'm in the saddle, and I love shooting out of that saddle, man. It's so much fun. I can't get over
practicing out of it.
Yeah.
Oh.
So he's at 15 yards. I draw back. I stop him. Punched him. I'm like, hell yeah. I'm like, oh, man. It's just again and again and again.
Yeah.
And I didn't wait that long on this deer. I got down 15 minutes because I knew it was 10 ring.
Yeah.
Like, this deer's dead already. I get down. I'm blood trailing. I'm walking up and found him. I'm walking up to him like, oh, fuck. Like, that's not him. I'm like, oh, man. I don't care. This deer got me pumped.
Yeah, no, it was a good buck. It was a good buck.
He had my heart racing. I was super proud. Like, it was a good – I mean, it was probably 2, maybe 3-year-old deer. But, hey.
It wasn't.
It wasn't a deer you're after. It was still a nice deer.
It was at least 3.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just –
So that's your Illinois deer.
That's my, yeah, grab him. He's right there. That's the only deer I Euroed.
This one here.
The other 2 are at the taxidermist.
Yeah, it's a nice deer.
Yeah, he's decent. He only measures at like 117 inches. I don't even think he broke 120.
Yeah, you would have had a nice little
get
side
him,
over here.
Get him all the way in the frame.
I don't know, man. He looks like a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's a nice deer. He is young deer, and he would have been a fucking monster probably. Mm-hmm. But this is a deer that I'd be proud of harvesting. This is a nice.
Oh, he got me jacked up, and I think
him.
that's honestly what it's about.
In like a year or 2.
Whatever. Anyway, all right. So I dropped him off at the processor because I did not feel like jacking with it at all.
Yeah.
So that was a saving grace because they were open.
Right.
It was.
That's right there too.
I think it was in the middle of the week. I think I took off work for that. I'm pretty sure I did. I think it was like a Thursday.
This is all coming back to me now.
I know.
Because I remember like being there and you're sending me text messages and stuff, and I'm like, fuck you, man.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm on top of the world at this point because
you got one in.
It's 2 deer down.
I got
Missouri.
One. So the way Missouri works is you can kill one with a bow before gun season, but you can't shoot another one until gun season with your bow.
Yeah.
But if you shoot one with a bow during gun season, you have to tag it with a gun tag, which I think is right.
Yeah, I mean that's fine.
Yeah. But if you do that, you can't fill your second archery tag.
Yeah, you're limited to $2.
Yeah, you're limited to only $2.
Combination of the two.
So one before gun season or 2 after gun season.
Right.
So
what's the date on this? So you got 2 deer.
So I killed that deer on October 30th.
Yeah, it was right before Halloween.
Oh shit.
So we got a Missouri tag filled.
So I am done now until when was opener? The 12th, the 11th this year?
11th.
So I took that time and
got killed.
I took that time and I took my nephew out.
Yeah.
Hunting. I'm trying to get him a deer.
Pictures of that.
Yep. But no good on all that. But then fast forward to, I guess, gun season. I'm in the tree with my bow because that's still one of my biggest goals is to kill a big mature buck with my bow during gun season.
Yep.
So I'm in the tree wearing orange. I hate it. I hate it. I hate the orange army. I mean, I don't hate them. It's whatever. Good for you. I love it. But
I mean, like, it's right. You should wear it, but to an extent, like, sometimes I take mine off. And when I get into the tree, like, I'll leave my hat on, but I'm taking off the vest or something. Once I get up in my tree.
I'm just skeptical about it.
Yeah.
But anyway, gunshots. It's like World War III opening morning.
We did not hear a lot of shots.
Oh. Where we're at, everybody and their mother is out surrounding us.
You're telling me, or is this Illinois farm?
No, this is. Okay. I already tagged out in Illinois. I have no more tags in Illinois. Yeah. But this was the Star Farm. I'm on the Star Farm, but it was the second day of firearm season, and I'm sitting in my saddle in this big creek, like huge creek, and I hear the neighbor start rattling. I know it's him because I walked up on him when I walked out.
I've had that with turkey season. Like, I've had my neighbors, I can hear them calling, and I'll call back, and, like, I got the fake gobble thing, and I'll do it back to him and stuff. Oh, it's so funny.
But anyway, I think, so he starts grunting. He does a little grunt sequence, and I'm listening. I'm like, oh, shit, is that something over there? No, it was this motherfucker. And then he starts rattling. I'm like, that's not a deer. That sounds like absolute garbage.
Yeah.
I'm like, that just sounds fucking terrible. And all of a sudden, this deer,
the little sack that you rubbed together.
This deer, no, he didn't even it wasn't like a rubbing sequence. It was like you're taking two antlers and you're just hitting them together. Like, you're not fucking clashing them together. You're just like
no lockups,
like tapping them
anything.
together. Yeah. I'm like, what is? I don't even know. But all of a sudden, this huge 8-pointer just comes flying over the hill right towards him. And I'm like, oh, shit. So I turn around, I grab my bow. It's in my hand, and I look back, and the deer's staring right at me. He's got me pegged. I'm like, I'm fucked. So he takes off running. I'm like, all right, well, I saved his life because he was about to go run to my neighbor.
Yeah.
So he runs off, and then it turns out to be the deer I killed the third time. It was that deer.
Gotcha, yeah.
So fast forward all the way to December 16th. Yeah, it was December 16th.
Was it?
Yeah, because it was. I remember
right before I left.
Yeah.
Yep.
December 16th. It was right after our Christmas party.
Yes, next day.
The day after.
Yep.
We're a little hungover.
Big time.
Big time. I was really hungover.
I couldn't believe I made it to your house.
Oh yeah, you almost got left behind. Anyway, So it was the day after our company Christmas party, and I was like, all right, I want to go to the lease because I get this 8-pointer on camera. He's very consistent in this food plot. He comes almost every day. He's in the morning, out in the evening, same time every day. But he's usually on two different cameras. I have two cameras in this food plot. He's either.
It's a nice thing about late season though, dude. It's like if you got
they're
food,
very patternable.
Yeah,
you can pattern them to a T. I'm almost liking late season more than the rut.
Not this year because our food plots were kind of shitty, but the past
Yours
2
were.
years, yeah,
Not mine.
right. And when I said our, I meant like my group,
your chunk of ground.
But the 2 years before that, we had good food plots, and it was like there were two good spots late season right off of bedding that you could get in super easy.
Right.
Every time you'd see a good deer.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first year we had that property, there was a good food plot up there. And I was actually muzzleloader hunting. It's before I was strict with the bow.
Mm-hmm.
And this giant 8-pointer we had been tracking pretty much all season came out, and was missing one of his sides. I think it was like January 1st or something. Like, no, that's not right. It would have been December something.
All right. Anyway, back to my story. I'm calling this dude. Did I call you? No, I texted you. I said I'm leaving, and
find it.
Yeah, But I was like, I don't know if this dude's gonna make it. I'm running late. I gotta go. I am getting in my truck, and this dude finally texts me and says, I'm on my way. I'm like, oh. And you're about a half hour away from me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so you finally get to my house. We hop in the truck and we fly to the lease because we are late at this point.
We weren't too late. I mean, like, I think. When did we get in? 2:15, probably.
No, we got
in the
tree at 3.
It was not 3.
It was 3 o'clock.
It was 2:15 or 2:30, 100%.
Whatever. I don't have a very good memory. But anyway, we get in the tree. Anthony is sitting on like the north side of the food plot, and I'm sitting on the south side of the food plot. I'm in the worst tree stand everywhere. Have you ever bow hunted out of a buddy stand?
Yeah. This is you at December 16th, 9:03 a.m. Take in hand, I'm still asleep.
And I'm hungover.
I'm about to be hungover.
Dude was still sauced.
Are you still alive? Yeah, LOL. Still want to go. And I thought he was asking, like, maybe he didn't want to. I don't know if he was hungover.
No, I was asking you if you still want to go.
Do you want to go? And I said, I'm packing right now. Got home at 5:15 a.m.
Oh.
You said, Jesus Christ, LOL, I can meet you at work or pick you up. I said, I'll be at your house.
You were decent, though. You were decent. You were alive.
Yeah, no, we held it together.
Yep. So we get to the lease. Again, I go to probably the south side of the food plot, and I am bow hunting out of a buddy stand with a gun rail around me. Yeah. You know how shitty that is?
I didn't realize that. I figured you had all.
Yeah, it had a gun. I mean, I had my bow.
Dude, I love the stand you put me in. We have a couple of the
primal tree stands.
Yeah,
they're cheap.
Are nice. Yeah, they're not bad.
But the seats are huge.
So is the platform.
Yeah, you got plenty of ass room. But so it gets to be around 3:30, about 3:30, and I see the really nice 8-pointer behind me, and I'm like, shit. I'm like, they're moving early already. Mm-hmm. So then. He passes.
You texted me,
yeah,
and you're like, decent 8-pointer behind me.
I think he might have got a little of my wind because that was directly downwind for me, and he was walking that creek, but all of a sudden he stopped for a minute. I think he might have just risen his nose in the air and just started checking me out, but he might have got a whiff of something because then he started kind of. Not trotting, but fast walking.
Right. Yeah.
Just keep going down the creek. I'm like, he wasn't a shooter anyway, so I wasn't really worried about it.
I just remember you texting me, and I'm like, damn, man, I'm not seeing shit right now. And like, taking hand, we're like 60, 70 yards apart from each other. We can't see down a little draw differently.
We can't see each other because there's a little finger of just thick shit right between us. But
like getting ready to text you, I was like,
this food plot makes like a horseshoe. So
this is the first time I hunted this farm too. Yeah. So I was like, where are these deer at?
Like, there ain't no deer on this farm,
right? Yeah.
So you were on the other side of the horseshoe of the food plot.
Yeah.
So it gets to be like close to last light, and these does come flying at me. I'm like, oh shit.
Well, explain to them like our kind of setup, like the reasoning behind of.
All right,
why we set up
this deer?
I guess, yeah.
This deer, I have 2 cameras in this food plot, and he either comes over on my side or he comes over on the side that Anthony was sitting on, and it's either a 50-50 shot. So Anthony's either going to kill him or I'm going to kill him. It just depends on where he goes in. So I guess I drew the lucky straw on that one, but
I call bullshit. I think he had that set up the whole time.
Yeah, I just put you in this shit spot. But anyway,
just give me the camera.
I would have had you film me if I knew he was going to come.
Right, yeah.
But anyway, he comes in behind these does. I don't even see him. I hear him. I hear him grunting, and it's December 16th. I guess there's a little late rut action.
Yeah,
one of them does were hot for sure,
dude. Well, it's funny, like, because those does eventually kind of filtered on through to me, and I was sitting there and I'm like, there's like a late rut for like a couple days, just depending on the deer. I'm like, oh, there's got to be a buck with him. Be a buck with him. I'll let him take it from there.
So this deer comes in, and I don't even know what time it was. It was 4:30.
find this out
Yeah.
too.
Probably close to 4:30. He comes in. I ranged where the does came out, and they were right at 39. No, 49. Yeah, 49 yards.
It's at 4:38 p.m.
4:38. So it's getting close.
Yeah.
And I ranged these does, and it was 49 yards. I'm like, all right, set my dial all the way down to 49, because this doe is literally, or this buck's literally on the same trail
Those
does
does
were.
came like,
So-
I mean, slam dunk shot right under me.
Right. So this deer comes up. He pauses for a minute. I'm like, shit, what's going on? Completely upwind from me, so I know wind's not an issue. But your wind was close to downwind to me. But it was more, I don't know, it wasn't really downwind to him. But he comes in, finally steps out, and I thought it was the same trail that them does were on. That's why I didn't even range him again.
Yeah.
So I draw back, I settle. I took my time too, because he looked like he was in a hurry, but he was moving very slow.
Yeah.
I settle my pin, I squeezed, arrow goes right over his back. And I'm just like, oh no. It's just,
I've never missed
damage.
and had a deer like just stay.
but he did.
Yeah.
He didn't go anywhere. He was looking at me. He was just staring right through my soul this entire time, and I'm just slowly reaching back, grabbing another arrow. I'm like, oh my god! And I think I only had like 3 arrows in my quiver.
That's like a scary feeling, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I don't know if I can grab one right now or not. Should I try?
Like, I got nothing to lose.
He's
I'm
right
grabbing
there.
one. So I slowly reach back, grab another arrow. He's still looking at me. I'm just moving real slow. Knock it. I range him just to make sure. And now he's standing
You do
on.
all this while he's looking at you?
Yeah,
Holy
I range
shit.
him just to make sure, and he's finally on the trail that the does were on, because he took like 2 steps back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, so he must have been like 45 when I first shot at him.
What are you pulling? 75?
No, I was pulling 70.
That's crazy that arrow rises that much.
I know.
Still at 50 too.
Yeah, I mean, it's 4-yard difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I was like, all right, it literally says 49. I'm like, my sight's on 40. I don't know how I missed him.
Right.
So I draw back again. He's kind of quartering to me a little bit. So I put that pin probably like right on the crease of his shoulder. Squeezed. I saw that knot go and stick him. I thought I like center punched his shoulder. I'm like, I don't know if I got that much penetration.
Yeah,
Tell your side first.
So I have these does right in front of me. Like I was saying earlier, like kind of hoping for that late rut. Fingers crossed, might be a buck with them. Watching these does, they're like 10, 15 yards right under me, and all I hear is bat, and then just an arrow fly and just smack something. And to me, it hit pretty solid. So we're texting. You said it looked like shoulder. I was like, kind of sounded like shoulder. I didn't see any blood. And then taking hand, this deer runs like
20 yards.
Yeah, 20 yards right in front of me.
Where you
So
just-
I grab my bow, and I'm like halfway getting ready. And then we started texting. You said you hit it.
You didn't see any blood or nothing.
No, I didn't see anything pouring out of him. And I
Which is
eventually,
wild.
we found drops and stuff up there.
No, he was pouring right away. It just stopped raining.
He started really pouring when he started going down that hill.
Yeah.
If I tried hard enough, I feel like I could have seen him like maybe drop when he started going up that hill a little
Yeah. Probably.
bit. Yeah.
Maybe. But anyway, I got down. I'm looking for my arrow. I finally got my missed arrow and put it back in my quiver. Go up to...
Painfully.
Yeah. I went to where I shot him, and the arrow was right. I thought he took off with the arrow, but he didn't.
You asked me if I saw arrow.
Yeah. But found my arrow. I got, 20 inches of penetration. Like it broke off like right at the front, but there was blood all the way almost to the fletchings of the arrow.
Yeah.
So it must have went in, hit that offside shoulder, and bounced out.
Yeah.
So I think, it double lung. Had to be. There's blood everywhere.
I remember you were texting me because you were still in your stand. And we were kind of talking like, oh, I don't know if the shot was great. I don't know if I hit shoulder. And I'm like, dude.
You always have doubts.
I was like,
everybody has doubts.
Like, fuck this. I was like, I'm getting down. I'm going to go see if I can find some blood. I just
Well,
saw
it's
this
still
thing run
kind of
right
light.
in front of me.
Well, it was still kind of light.
You're like sitting there, you're like, here, just wait. And I'm like,
None of us had flashlights, did we?
We had our phones.
Yeah, we had our phone. We were using our cell phones, but so we found the blood trail. It was heavy, like blood everywhere. I'm like, all right, now confidence is back.
It was raining all day too, so the blood was kind of washed out, but like, I mean, it was pretty good.
You could still see it with the cell phone light.
On a dry day, it would have looked like a bloodbath.
So we're following this blood trail, and we get how far you think he went? Like 60, 70 yards? Probably around
70, 80 yards. Yeah.
And I finally
50.
I look up and I see a side of a rack. And I'm like, oh shit, there he is. And we were kind of like watching him, make sure he's not moving.
Right, because I mean, this is like right after he shot him. I mean, like
it was quick.
30 minutes?
No, not even.
Not even?
Probably 15 minutes.
Yeah. God, dude, I just remember. Oh, I was so fucking pumped. Like,
I know, I was pumped. Dude, we see this deer.
So fun.
We walk up, dude. The celebration was real. We were hugging. We started taking pictures. Anthony took a nice video of me.
Do you have that on there?
I think I do. Nope, I don't. Anyway, here's a...
Look at your camera roll. You got a camera roll on there?
On my phone. There he is. We drag him out in the middle of the food plot. We're taking pictures. And, I mean, this deer's... This deer scored 136 and something inches. But, I mean, 136 inch 8-pointer. It's a pretty decent deer. Yeah, he is really wide.
He's a 9, isn't he? Doesn't he have a kick?
He had a little kicker right here on the front. But, I mean, it's not real. The kicker's not. It's probably like 3-4 inches. It's a mainframe 8-pointer. I call him an 8-pointer. But anyway, yeah, he is a really good deer. You see this thing on my bow right here? My daughter made that for me as a good luck charm.
Very nice.
So I put it on my bow. It worked. Hell yeah. But I got...
It broke your arrow?
What?
The deer did?
Yeah.
After you shot it?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the first rip TKO you've broken?
It was. Dude,
those arrows are the shit.
Dude, I mean, like... I was shooting in my backyard one day. I missed the target. I hit my house. I hit the foundation. This arrow is sticking out of the concrete.
Bounce.
And it stays in the concrete. Arrow doesn't even break. After that, I was sold. I'm like, I'm shooting these arrows
until they don't make them one time, and I shoot like wrist rocket, just pull the trigger.
Yeah.
And I was trying to learn how to shoot a hinge just for fun. So I'm shooting. I blast one, and where we work, it's a shop, so there's plywood. There's this steel beam that spaces it out, and then there's just like the metal siding with a little bit of insulation in between. This thing blew straight through, and it's hanging on by the fletchings. I'm like, oh fuck. So I walk outside, and there's like some ironworkers shit behind us, and this dude looks at me, and I'm trying to be low key, like snap it off real quick. So I pull it out. It's still intact, and this guy look. I thought I heard something. He was so cool about it. I'm like, dude, that shit's not funny. You about had to get a new tailgate. I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah. That's pretty funny.
He was, he was cool about it.
Yeah.
He's like, God damn. He's like, went through that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, kind of.
Anyway, here's a picture of him all caped out in my garage. That's right before the taxidermist trip. He's going to go on this whiskey barrel. So I have the first one I got. The October 14th one, that 9-pointer.
Yep.
I got him pedestal mounted. So he's it's a semi-sneak, ears back, deer looking left. And this one, I'm getting the same posture, but him looking right. So they're going to be looking at each other.
So how are you mounting them on to the
So there's this mount they sell online. I forget what the name of it is, but it's you screw it right to the top.
Yep.
And then it's got 2 flat brackets that swivel.
Nice.
And you screw that to the back of the pedestal mount. Gotcha. So you can kind of like orientate them how you want.
Where they made a configuration where like a 4x4 comes out the top of it, and they have like a bunch of different deer coming off of it. I thought that one was pretty slick, but I like that.
Yeah, I love it. But I saw pictures of that online. I'm like, oh, I have to have it. Yeah, I got a whiskey barrel, and it's been here waiting for deer ever since. Something about a whiskey
barrel, man.
I know.
Something about it.
Mm-hmm. But I had probably the best season of my entire life. I mean, I've killed some really good deer, but this year it was like a.
Looking back at those pictures of that deer that you just showed, like it was a great buck then, but like looking back on those, like damn, that's a fucking hammer.
Yeah, it was.
He was real wide.
But yeah, I was impressed. I was proud of myself mainly. Like, I was like, okay, this is a big clicking moment. Like the light bulb goes off.
I'm doing something right.
Yes, I'm like, I am figuring this out. Like,
right.
I am doing something right. I'm mainly hunting with cameras and scouting. Really,
I would love to do more like
I've killed
early season scouting.
I've killed 3 deer this year, and this was the least amount of time I've ever spent in the woods.
Yeah.
Wild. Even my wife just told me that today, actually. She's like, this year you've killed a lot of deer, but you haven't been in the woods much.
You killed one early, so you kind of had to wait.
Yeah, I kind of did. No, I had Illinois.
True. Shit, no, you didn't.
But yeah, I mean, I had one hell of a year. Scotland had one hell of a year.
I had a good season.
He almost died.
Yeah. We gambled this year. Won't throw the dice like that again, but the gamble did pay off at the end. We learned a lot, and that's a lesson learned for everyone. Even as an experienced hunter, pay attention. Shit happens, but the basics, pay attention. That was something I overlooked this year. Was the basics. It about bit me in the ass.
That's what you learned this year?
Yeah.
What'd you learn?
I don't know. I learned some kind of new patterns, I guess. With
on your farm?
Yeah, just with some new movement. With we got a new farmer, new ag, new fields that are being planted and stuff. Learned some stuff on that.
Those are big years because those years develop into later on putting big bucks down.
And then also just like focusing on food plots. That's another big one. Just learning. I don't know.
Well, that's something me and him played with this year was the food plots, that big time. So he did his food plots real deal. I mean, did the work, put them in.
I don't know if you've seen his Illinois one, but I mean, it is like, we had it like that a year or 2 ago. And I mean, like, be careful walking through it because, like, seriously, you'll step on one of these bulbs and you'll roll it. Like,
well, the
time.
thing with that big time, like I've done it a few different times with different products, but that big time stuff, I'll say he did his food plots right. They turned out like they advertised, great plots. Then we did a kind of an experiment at my farm and half-assed a food plot. No soil sample. Let's just see what happens if we just do the bare minimum and throw the seed, scratch the ground a little. That's about it. We did that. It still took. And if my deer didn't beat it down like lawnmowers, I would have had a food plot similar to yours.
Well, and it's worth saying, like, go get your soil sample. Figure out your fertilizer.
That's number one.
Get your lime. Do it all right. And
it's whatever your soil sample
is
says.
so worth it.
The beautiful thing about a soil sample is it will tell you what you need to do.
Exactly,
and not waste your money on shit you don't need.
Well, and I mean, and sometimes, like, definitely fertilizer and lime, but also you can plant certain things, like if you need nitrogen
the buck brunch,
or
dude.
whatever, like, plant some clover or something,
Like the buck brunch, you could be off a little bit, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It takes.
Yeah.
Takes.
I can't. I mean, we have no affiliation with Big Time, but I can't preach it enough.
Yeah, I will say this about it. So, if you know you're the half-ass guy that's not going to put in the work,
that's probably
or you don't have the time, whatever it is. I've been that guy, and in the past, it doesn't work. It really doesn't work when you half-ass it. But
that's like,
if you know you're the guy, the big time stuff, we half-assed the food plot this year just to see what happened.
I think that's a good idea, maybe for like a future video.
We're gonna have a whole food plot.
And I know food plot section, but maybe for the guys that don't have a tractor or don't have all the time on their hands. I know I don't sometimes.
Or the money,
or the money, and just
to buy the seeds.
Certain ways to figure things out. I think that could be a cool lesson learned because, I mean, I've definitely been there. Like, have you guys ever used one of like the hand tillers? Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Just making it happen, whatever you got to do.
I mean, I don't have any tractor equipment or anything. I bought implements for my side-by-side, and it works. Okay. It works great.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So implementing different things.
I mean, not a lot of people have side-by-sides or big equipment or anything like that, but there's ways around it. There's ways you can do it. Like my Illinois farm, made my nephew work, and I made him grab a garden rake.
Yeah.
After I sprayed that plot,
dude, well,
I made him rake it with this garden rake.
If you can kill out like that thatch and that grass and shit, and get some sun down to the seeds that you throw.
I didn't till the ground.
Dude,
I didn't do nothing.
Well,
I fertilized.
The thing with tilling,
limed.
it's like spray it, kill it,
Yeah.
and then you till it. You just turn up a bunch of new seeds of that grass
that were dormant.
and
Just
just
grows right again.
You're turning dormant seeds sometimes.
That's why I mean, like after you till.
We're gonna get carried away on
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's
this
true.
This is a different episode. We will go over and like what
Food
works for us in the food plots.
It'll be a food plot episode.
On an episode, but
good seasons. We all learned something. Phil had a hell of a season.
I learned
Scotty had a hell of a season.
I learned to be aggressive when the time is right.
Yeah.
If you are aggressive, even if it's early, if your cameras are telling you need to be there, you need to be there.
Another important lesson I learned this year, when we hunt up north, we previous years tend to bounce around a lot because we have a lot of ground to hunt. Sit your ass down and hunt. If you're seeing deer in that area, you may not see them today. Sit in that spot. Have confidence when you're seeing deer in locations and you don't have that camera work that you have. Don't bounce around. Like, sit in that spot, stay there, be confident when you're seeing those bucks. They're in that area during that season. Stay there and have patience. And I learned that this year was have patience. Don't bounce around. Sit your ass down and deer hunt.
Yep.
Hell yeah. Well, guys, this has been fun. We had a good year. Scotland had a good year. I had a good year. You learned a lot. So I guess that's pretty
I didn't shoot anything, but I learned a lot.
Hey, you learned.
That's important.
That's almost better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode. Tune in next week. We're going to have another banger for you. So see ya.